Mine always still says prepare to live stream when it's actually already going. So,
It's saying it's streaming. That's what it's saying. Being sent to a third party, so
all
should be
right.
good.
Welcome to our reading of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And let me turn off the live stream on my end. Mine always hear echoes. There we go. I told you.
It's saying it's streaming. That's what
Yep.
it's saying. Being sent to a third party.
Yep, it is.
Yep.
I'm gonna my
Oh,
I know. She's like 3 weeks. She's too little to not freak out. Be tiny.
Cat people.
my cat is right here, right next to me. He's gonna probably come over and try to sit down and like take over everything because he always does. You can.
Yeah, I'm a new Zoom cat owner, and I hear from Zoom other fellow Zoomers with their cats. They're like, no, yeah, loves my computer, loves my laptop.
we love, by all means, we love seeing cats. So we're gonna go through with introductions here. And so if you could let us know your name and at least the major characters you're playing, you don't have to list all the minor ones because there's too many of them. And then where in the world you are, and where people can find you if they're interested in looking you up for, acting or screenwriting jobs or such, or just, in general fandom. So I'll start with Aubrey.
Hi, my name is Aubrey. You've probably seen me before in here. I am in California, in the USA, and my pronouns are whatever you want them to be. I don't care. And you can find me on Spotify if you want to look up my album. You can also find me on Instagram under at Lucy and the Fair, and my link to my Spotify is on there where you can find all of my music. I'm an actress and a singer and a songwriter and a composer, and I do all the creative stuff. So that's really what it is. I'm sure you can find some of my stuff, my acting stuff on YouTube. You can certainly find it here on our lovely channel. So yeah, that's all there is for me.
All right. Jackson.
Hello, I'm Jackson Gray. I will be playing Roger Rabbit and actions and descriptions in the third part. And a ton of treasure trove of many other characters, of course. And I'm in Central Alberta, Canada. What else? Oh, you can find me on any social media with my name, mostly. I think that's mainly everything.
That's it. Let's go up to Henry next.
Hello, I'm Henry Graham Murray. This is my first appearance, and I'm looking forward to see what happens. I'm in Venice, California, Los Angeles, and I'm playing Valiant. What's his first name? I can't remember his first name.
Eddie, I believe.
Anyway, the Bob Hoskins character, and I love this movie, by the way. When it came out, just absolutely, totally loved it, and so I probably still do. And I'm playing Baby Herman, which I just found out about, so I haven't had time to practice my crying, and a couple of other things as well. But is that all you need? Oh, yes, you can find me at my website at henryhavingfun.com, and I'm Henry Graham Murray on Facebook. I'm the only one, and I'm on Instagram as Henry Graham Murray too. So, okay,
All right.
looking forward to this.
All right. So Haley.
Hello. This is also my first time reading with Table Read Tuesdays. I'm very excited. I've been I've been acting since I was like 8. I don't know. It's my favorite thing. Sometimes I joke that it's the only thing I'm good at, but it's not true. That can't be true, right? I am excited to play Jessica Rabbit, Betty Boop, and a plethora of other characters. I love this movie. I'm super excited. I go by she, her pronouns. And yeah, I'm excited for the read. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, and I guess you can find me on Facebook as Haley Elizabeth but that's because I'm working on a stage name. If you want to YouTube me, I have plenty of stuff up that's under Haley Bayermeister, which is my name right there, if that's seen at all.
Yeah, I can't remember if they show up or not.
Yeah, it's okay. If not,
I'm going to switch back real quick to Aubrey because she wants to list her characters that she's playing.
I forgot my characters. Yeah, I get to play Maroon and Doom and Benny. Those are the big characters I get to play, which they're awesome characters. So hey, it's fun. Anyways, Haley, I loved your introduction. Okay.
And my name is
Back to you.
Kate Wilson. I am the she, her pronouns in Gig Harbor, Washington. Your host this evening. Tonight I'll be playing Lieutenant Santino and a couple of small parts and a lot of actions and descriptions. One of the small parts I'm really nervous about is Donald Duck because, you know, he's very iconic. But that being said, you know, feel free tonight because this is a cartoon in large part mixed with actual live humans. You know, it's really a good opportunity to play with voices tonight. So feel free to, you know, chew the scenery, as the saying goes. And you can find me when I'm not reading here. You can find me on most Saturdays at Two Households in Fair Corona, a Shakespeare reading group. All right, I'm gonna get our screen up, our script up on the screen, and then we'll get going. It's a bit of a long script, and this is a not a shooting script. So let's see. And I had a question on who's playing Dolores, and that would be Haley, looks like. So there's our script. All right. So this is a third draft from 1986. So there's probably some differences between the actual movie that came out and the ones that we'll be reading tonight. So pay attention and see if you can spot those if you're out there in YouTube land. All right, we'll get started. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? With the working title, Who Shot Roger Rabbit? Written by Jeffrey Price and Peter S. Seaman, based on the novel by Gary K. Wolfe. This movie starts the way all movies should, with a cartoon. It's not a Disney or Warner's, it's not a Fleischer, an MGM or Lands. This is a lesser known studio. And we fade in on a maroon cartoon accompanied by zany cartoon music. The title card reads, Maroon Cartoon presents Baby Herman and Roger Rabbit in The Bunny Sitter. Below are two cameos of the cartoon stars. One picture is of a cherubic baby in a bonnet, innocently poised with his thumb in his mouth. The other is a paunchy rabbit with a gap between his front teeth. He has a lovable, if slightly shell-shocked look. The cartoon begins. Baby Herman, and Roger Rabbit are in a playpen when two female legs in high heels walk into frame. The voice belonging to the legs talks down to Baby Herman in a maternal coo.
Mommy's going to the beauty parlor, darling, but I'm leaving you with your favorite friend, Roger. He's going to take very, very good care of you. 'Cause if he doesn't, he's going back to the science lab.
Roger gulps as he watches the legs disappear. We hear footsteps recede and a door slam. Roger turns confidently back to his charge, but the little tyke is already squeezing through the playpen bars.
Baby, bye.
Roger makes a dive for him, misses, and gets his head stuck between the bars. He pleads with the baby in a voice that resonates of Hunts Hall in the Bowery Boys.
Hey, come back! Back! Oh, you heard what your mother said.
Baby towards Roger. We follow him as he crawls into the kitchen. He stops to regard something. A cookie jar. It's sitting on top of the refrigerator.
Cookie!
Roger, wearing the playpen like a pillory, comes running toward the kitchen. But the playpen is too wide to clear the door. The impact shattering the playpen and sends Roger across the kitchen floor. When he looks up, Baby Herman is on the door.
Hang on, baby. I'll save you.
Roger makes a desperate leap across the kitchen for the kid, but Baby Herman swings the door to the freezer open and Roger disappears inside. Baby Herman grabs a cookie and swings back, shutting the door. He climbs down and crawls out of the kitchen. After a beat, the freezer door opens. Roger, now shaped like a block of ice, falls out and hits the floor. The block shatters into ice cubes. Roger looks around, dazed. Baby Herman has taken this opportunity to crawl out the window. Roger races to the window. His eyes pop out of his head at what he sees. From Roger's point of view, Baby Herman is crawling along the sidewalk under the shadow of a safe being hoisted to a second-floor window by the Acme Safe Moving Company. The rope holding the safe is falling down to a slender thread. Roger gasps and rockets out the window toward Baby Herman. The rope snaps and the safe falls. Roger arrives just in time to pluck the baby out of harm's way, but not in time to save him. The safe crunches down on his head, bearing Roger into the sidewalk. After a beat, Roger's hand appears and spins a tumbler. The safe door opens. Inside, we see the dazed rabbit with little tweeting birds circling around his head.
Cut! Cut! Cut!
The cartoon action stops abruptly, but the goofy cartoon music plays on. We begin a slow pullback to reveal that this cartoon is being filmed live on a soundstage. The title card sits on an easel, and the female legs are papier-mâché props, manipulated by two human crew members. Wearily, they lean the legs up against the stage wall. A human director wearing a tweed jacket and baggy pleated pants steps onto the set. From the equipment and the dress of the crew, we can tell it's the 1940s. Baby Herman throws his cookie down in disgust. He talks in a gravelly voice, an octave lower than Wallace Behr's.
What the hell was wrong with that tape?
Nothing with you, Baby Herman. It's on Roger! Again! Hey, can we lose the playback?
The music suddenly stops as, off to the side, the soundman lifts the needle off a phonogram. The director leans over Roger and angrily plucks one of the birds circling his head.
What's this, Roger?
On Tweety Buds.
Oh, that's right. A tweeting bird. But what does the script say? Rabbit gets conked. Rabbit sees stars. Not birds! Stars!
Oh, for crying out loud, Roger, I'll be in my trailer taking a nap.
Baby Herman pulls himself up to his full height of 2 feet and walks off the set. He chooses a route that takes him under the dress of the script girl. She jumps as if goosed. Now 2 crew members lift the safe off of Roger.
Please, Ron. I could give you the stars. I know I can. Just drop the safe on my head one more time.
I've already dropped it on you 23 times!
Don't worry about me. I can take it.
I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about the safe.
What we've been seeing has been from the point of view of a man in a shiny brown suit, standing unobtrusively at the back of the soundstage. Under a beat-up fedora is a craggy face that's seen a lot in its life, but apparently didn't think much of it was funny. Eddie Valiant takes a jolt from a pint of whiskey, evidently in reaction to what he's seen. He opens his coat and returns a pint bottle to a shoulder holster which had formerly held a .38. Nerves steadied, he walks out the stage door. The exterior studio day. Valiant emerges from the stage onto a bustling Hollywood studio lot where cartoon characters, tunes, and humans are commingling as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Valiant stops by an Acme novelty truck, which is unloading tune props. There are bombs, rockets, flattened pocket watches, anvils, giant slingshots, etc. The license plate is California 1946. He fishes out a pack of Chesterfields and tops out half a butt that had been stubbed out. As he lights it, Valiant regards a chubby, balding man wearing a 3-piece suit and a worried expression coming toward him. He is R.K. Maroon, studio boss. Maroon is leading an entourage of assistants trying to keep up.
Starting tomorrow, there'll be no more roast beef lunches. What happened to cheese sandwiches? I was raised on cheese sandwiches.
The assistants dutifully record his thoughts, and Maroon sees a guy taking a nap in the shade of a palm tree.
And tell that guy sleeping over there he's fired.
It's your wife's brother. It's your wife's brother, RK.
Oh. Tell him he's promoted, but get him out of my sight.
As the assistants disperse, Maroon approaches Valiant.
Valiant, did you see the rabbit?
Oh, he was blowing his lines. All right. So what?
So what? He's already put me 3 weeks behind on the shooting schedule.
Now an Edith head type hustles the Marine several costume designs.
Your reaction, RK?
Maroon quickly.
No. Sorry.
She flips another drawing.
That's funny. Put a hamburger on it and it'll be even funnier. Huh, Valiant?
He grabs the pad and shows Valiant. The rendering is of a hippo in a pink polka dot tutu.
Yeah, that'd be a riot.
Maroon responds to Valiant's sarcasm with raised eyebrows.
Boy, I hope you ain't contagious or I'll be out of business.
He hands the pad back to the designer, who departs.
How much do you know about show business, Valiant?
Well, only there's no business like it. No business I know.
Valiant watches an alligator in a rebel uniform dragging a brace of cannons and several toadstools parade by.
Yeah, there ain't no business as expensive. I'm 25 grand over budget on the latest Bunny Sitter cartoon, and that's all because that rabbit can't keep his mind on his work. And you know why?
One too many safes dropped on his head.
Nah. That goes with the territory. He's a stunt bunny.
Maroon
Yeah.
takes a copy of the Hollywood Tatler out of his pocket.
Here's the problem. Seen cooing over calamari with not so new sugar daddy was Jessica Rabbit, wife of Maroon Store Roger. His wife's a tramp, but he thinks she's Betty Crocker. No, the Dowd's eating him up.
So what do you want me to do?
Just get me a couple of juicy pictures. Something I can wise the rabbit up with.
Well, I don't work in Toontown.
You don't have to. The rabbit's wife sings in an underground tune revenue joint called the Ink and Paint Club. You could catch her in action there.
Ah, the job's going to cost you $100.
$100? That's ridiculous.
So's the job.
Valiant starts to walk away.
All right. You got yourself $100.
Maroon turns, snaps his fingers. His assistant appears out of nowhere with Maroon's checkbook and a pen. The assistant turns and stoops so that Maroon can write the check on his back.
50 now. 50 when you deliver the pictures.
Maroon tears a check off and hands it to Valiant. Suddenly, Valiant ducks in reflex to a large shadow that passes overhead.
Kind of jumpy, aren't you, Valiant? It's just Dumbo.
Above their heads, Dumbo swoops back and forth and hovers, ears flapping like a hummingbird.
Oh,
I got him on loan from Disney.
aren't you the lucky one?
Valiant grabs the check from Maroon and starts for the gate.
So when will I hear from you?
As soon as is humanly possible.
We follow Valiant out the gate under a wrought iron sign that reads Maroon Cartoon Studios. As he starts across the road, he's almost run over by a Toon Roadster that roars out of the gates. When it blasts its horn, it's the first 5 notes from the Woody Woodpecker song. Oh, and I totally forgot what that sounds like. Ha 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 ha! Valiant jumps back as the roadster passes. Woody the Woodpecker is behind the wheel with a self-important smile on his face. Valiant angrily waves a cloud of tune dust away.
Damn tunes.
Across the street, a trolley car is slowing to a stop in front of the studio. It's a Pacific and Electric red car, part of the vast system of electric trolleys that once crisscrossed the LA basin. Valiant steps onto the red car. He reaches into the pocket to give the conductor his nickel fare. Betty comes up with a handful of lint. He holds out the check.
What do I look like? A bank?
The conductor jerks his hand toward the door. Valiant suffers the public humiliation of having to step down past the rest of the boarding passengers. He walks around to the back of the red car where a gang of 10-year-olds are loitering. When the bell sounds and the red car starts to pull away, the kids make a dash for the place on the cow catcher. Valiant joins them. We hold as the red car moves away and the street urchins regard their older partner in crime with curiosity. Dissolved to a billboard sign. It reads, LA's Pacific and Electric Red Car, America's finest public transportation system. Pan down to see the sign is on the roof of the trolley terminal. Red cars are going in and out of the shed. Move in on one car approaching the terminal from down the street. As it passes by, Valiant hops off his freeloader seat on the back.
So long, mister.
Oh, thanks for the cigarettes.
We follow Valiant as he crosses the street to a seedy bungalow. A note is push-pinned to the door. Close on the note, and it says, Tomorrow's Friday. Well, Dolores. Valiant takes the note and walks back across the street toward the terminal. He climbs up a flight of stairs, heading for a bar on the mezzanine. The bar sports a red neon sign that used to blink, the Terminal Station Bar, but now it just says Terminal. Interior Terminal Bar Day. The place must have been pretty swanky at the turn of the century when it was built in the first burst of enthusiasm over the new public transportation system. It's in the motif of a trolley car. There's a large map on the wall above the bar showing all the different lines. Behind the bar is Dolores. If you scraped off all the makeup, you'd find an attractive woman in her late 30s. She ministers to a ragtag assortment of Hollywood lowlifes who truly are at the end of the line. Valiant enters this den. Let's stop for a moment. And then bellies up to the bar. He finds a spot between a one-armed black soldier and a midget stretched out on the bar, passed out. Now the trolley rumbles underneath them. The bar starts to shake like an earthquake. The lights flicker. All the drinkers, observing a time-honored ritual, lift their glasses simultaneously to avoid spilling any drops. Even the midget lifts his head until the trolley is passed. Valiant reaches over the bar and blind grabs a bottle of rye that he obviously knows is there and pours himself a shot.
Hey, fellas, what's the good word?
I lost my job.
An erratic cowboy pipes up.
Bill died.
A deaf mute scribbles a note on a pad hanging around his neck. He hands a note to Valiant. It says, My girl dumped me. Valiant pats him on the back, consoling.
Well, you know what they say about dames, Oggy.
Then Valiant mouths the rest of it for Augie's benefit only. Augie reads his lips and starts to roar silently, slapping his thigh. Now Dolores makes her way down the bar. She grabs a midget by the suspenders and slides him out of the way.
So, making damn jokes, huh, Eddie? Dame jokes, huh, Eddie? Well, let me remind you, pal. It was a dame who took $100 out of the till, so your landlord wouldn't throw you out of your dump. And it was a dame who trusted you for the money when no one else in town would. And it's a dame who's tired of waiting for you to straighten yourself out and get a job.
Would this be the same dame who's going to feel awfully foolish when she finds out I've got her money?
Valiant slides a check across the bar. Dolores steadies it. She calms down.
This is $50. I need 75 before they check the books tomorrow.
Well, you'll have it in the morning. Now be a sport and let me have $20 to put in my pocket.
Is this paper even good?
Check the scroll.
RK Maroon.
Yeah.
Now, Angelo, a Neanderthal sitting a few stools down, is tapping the shell of a hard-boiled egg.
Maroon? Valiant, don't tell me you're working for a toon. Who's your client? Chili Willy or Screwy Squirrel?
Angelo chuckles at his own joke and goes to eat his egg. Suddenly, Valiant darkens. He grabs Angelo by the shirt and pulls him up to his face.
Get this straight, Greaseball. I'm not working for a toon. I'd never work for a toon. Got that?
Valiant jams a whole egg in Angelo's mouth, turns and storms out of the door. Angelo sputters and spits out the egg.
What's his problem? Well, Toon killed his brother.
All right, I think this is where we switch narrators. To narrator 2.
I think that's me.
I think that's you. Yep.
All right. Exterior, Ink and Paint Club, night. Valiant knocks on the door of a nondescript building in a rundown factory area. A speak-easy style peephole slides open, revealing the face of a toon gorilla. Valiant offers the password.
Waltz, thump me.
The peephole slides closed, and after a beat, the door swings open. Interior, club. The gorilla, dressed in a tux, gives Valiant the once-over. Valiant resents the assessment.
Like your monkey suit.
Was a
We follow Valiant down the hall towards the main room. We can hear laughter and zany music from within. Interior, main room. When Valiant steps through the doorway, we see the place is no dive. It's a white tablecloth nightclub on a par with the El Morocco or the Garden of Allah. Behind the bar, a caterpillar bartender is using his many arms to shake and pour several drinks at once. Meanwhile, a dozen Pangol waiters are gliding back and forth along the tables serving drinks to the well-heeled crowd. On stage, Donald Duck and Daffy Duck are seated opposite of each other at matching grand pianos. What begins as a decorous duck duet on a Tchaikovsky piece, complete with the knuckle-cracking, seat-spinning preparations, quickly escalates onto a loony game of one-upsmanship between these two irascible ducks. There is keyboard stomping, lid banging, piano wire plucking zaniness. The audience is howling. People are wiping the tears from their eyes. They're laughing so hard, all except Valiant. He lights a cigarette impassively, not humored by the toon hijinks. He spots an empty table off to the side and makes his way toward it. A silly geezer in a loud suit is at the next table. The geezer nods to him soberly as Valiant pulls out the chair and sits down. A loud, flatulent sound erupts from under Valiant. The geezer slaps his thigh with the hilarity of it all.
Will you listen to that? It's a blimp. I'm thinking of calling it a whoopee cushion.
Valiant reaches under himself and comes up holding a deflated rubber bladder. The geezer retrieves it from him.
No hard feelings. I hope. Put her there.
The geezer grabs Valiant's hand before he can say no. We hear a bzzz. Valiant retracts his hand as if shocked. The geezer howls with laughter and then turns his palm to Eddie.
Hand buzzer. Real gasser.
Valiant rolls his eyes and grabs a penguin as he glides by.
Scotch.
There's a tea drink minimum.
Just as long as there's no maximum.
Waiter, I sign my check now.
The penguin puts a bill down on the geezer's table and zips off. The geezer takes a fountain pen out of his jacket and writes on the bill. But there doesn't seem to be any ink coming out. He shakes and shakes the pen to get it flowing. It flows all right, ink smarted all over Valiant's shirt and pants. Valiant looks down at the stain, doing a slow burn. The geezer starts laughing. Valiant jumps up and grabs him by the lapels.
That's it for you, Pops.
Oh, calm down, son. Look, the ink is gone.
Valiant looks down at his shirt. Stain is gone.
See, it disappears.
Well, why don't you make like the ink?
Valiant drops him into his chair and returns to his seat. The penguin glides up with his drinks. Valiant swallows the first one with one quick jerk of his head. On stage, Donald and Daphne's piano competition has reached a crescendo of mayhem. They've got the axes out, and in time with the music, they reduce their pianos to matchsticks. At the completion of the piece, they step to the front of the stage, and with great decorum, arms around each other, they take their bows. The curtain comes down to great applause. We hear the SFX of crashing and bashing backstage. Now from behind Valiant, we hear a familiar high-pitched voice.
Cigar? Cigarettes? Eddie!
Valiant turns to see Betty Boop standing with a box of tobacco wares strapped around her neck. In contrast to all the other tunes, Betty's in black and white.
Gee, it's swell to see you, Eddie. We miss you in Toontown.
Wish I could say the same. What you doing here, Betty?
It's been slow for me since cartoons went to color. But I still got it, Eddie. Boop boop be doo.
Oh, yeah, you still got it, Betty. Who's Mr. Jocularity?
That's Marvin Alchemy, the Gag King.
Should have guessed.
He comes here every night to see Jessica Rabbit.
Big on the musical comedy, huh?
Sounds like you've never seen her, Eddie.
Now the lights dim and Betty moves on. On stage, the dour Droopy walks out with the spotlight following him. He's the evening's EMC. Hello, everybody. I hope you're all having as much fun as I am. I have a small announcement to make.
Had plenty of money.
Jessica Rabbit will not be able to sing tonight. There is a roar of disapproval from the men in the crowd. They shower him with debris. Continue. Oh, oops. I was merely jesting. Without further ado, here is the woman times two. Toontown's own chanteuse par excellence, Jessica Rabbit. There is excited applause as the lights dim. A tune combo made up of crows in shade strikes up the intro to the smoky song, Why Don't You Do Right? A spotlight hits the curtain. Now, a courageous leg pokes out teasingly. The crowd goes wild as the rest of the body belonging to the leg emerges. Jessica Rabbit, as generously endowed red-headed bombshell. She's a humanoid toon, in her case, more beautiful than human. Her figure is testimony to what a guy can do with a pencil and a fertile imagination. Reaction Valiant. This is not quite the bunny he expected Roger to be married to. His jaw drops and his reactions mirrored all around the room. The men are panting so hard you couldn't keep a match lit. Close-up of Jessica as she steps to the mic.
You had plenty of money back in 22. You let other women make a fool out of you. Why don't you do right, like some other men do? Get out of here and get me the money too.
Jessica takes the mic and comes off the stage. Slinkingly, she wanders around the tables, teasing the men as she goes. Now there's a howl from behind Valiant. A Tex Avery type, Toon Wolf, who came masquerading as a human, couldn't help but show his true colors at the sight of Jessica. He howls as if it were a full moon. His tongue rolls out of his head and piles up on the floor like so much clothesline. His eyeballs telescope right out of his head, and finally the wolf levitates and snaps rigid like an open jackknife. As the woman makes a rush, The wolf makes a rush for the stage. The gorilla bouncer grabs him by the suspenders. The wolf, legs spinning madly, practically knocks Valiant's table over as he grabs at Jessica. But the wolf has come to the end of his suspenders. He snaps back towards the gorilla, who is holding an anvil in front of the suspenders. Clang! The wolf hits the anvil and slides to the floor. The gorilla calmly whisks him into a dustpan and carries him out. Jessica, like all good saloon singers, has continued her act undaunted.
Why don't you do it right like some other men do?
She chases over to the geezer's table. Teasingly, she swirls the wisps of white hair onto his head into a Dairy Queen. He giggles gleefully and makes a grab at Jessica, but she slips out of his grasp like mercury.
You ain't got no money, ain't got no use for you.
Now Jessica works her way over to Eddie. She stops at the table and sings tauntingly. Then, with a flourish, she throws herself in his lap and belts out the finale.
So get out of here and get me the money too.
There's a raucous applause when she finishes. Jessica looks deep into Eddie's eyes.
Thanks for your lap.
Before Eddie can reply, she jumps off and slinks off stage, leaving Eddie in a pile of human wreckage. Valiant slugs the rest of his drink down to put out the fire in his libido. When the lights come up, Valiant looks over to see where Acme is slicking down his eyebrows and patting his hair down. He stands, picks up a bouquet of roses from the chair beside him, and as he passes Valiant's table, gives him a big wink. Valiant watches Acme disappear backstage. He stands up, drops a couple of bucks on the table, and follows after him. Backstage, Valiant steps past the curtain, keeping the discreet distance. He follows Marvin Acme down a corridor and around the corner. Acme stops and knocks on the dressing room door. After a moment, it opens, and Acme goes inside. Valiant checks over his shoulder, but the backstage area is empty. He eases over to the door and puts his eye into the keyhole. POV through the keyhole. Jessica is seated at her dressing table. Acme is on his knee next to her, kissing his way up her gloved hand, eyes closed in ecstasy. Jessica takes her hand out of the glove and starts combing her hair, leaving Marvin kissing a suspended tune glove. Angle on Valiant while he continues his peeping. The gorilla bouncer sneaks up behind him.
Hey, what do you think you're doing, chimp?
Well, who are you calling chump? Chimp?
The gorilla smiles sadistically when he recognizes Valiant.
Oh, it's that comedian.
The gorilla grabs Valiant by the belt and lifts him off the ground. He opens the fire door and heaves Valiant out.
Oh.
Exit alley night. Valiant comes flying out of the door and crashes into a bunch of garbage cans in the alley. The gorilla stands in the doorway regarding the dazed Valiant.
And don't let me catch you peeping face around here again. Got it?
Ooga booga.
The gorilla slams the door. Valiant picks himself up out of the garbage. He brushes himself off, then starts down the alley towards the rear of the building. We follow him around the corner where he stops under Jessica's dressing room window. He drags over a milk crate to stand on, takes a small camera out of his pocket, and opens the bellows. He stands on the crate. And aims the camera through the corner of the window as we hear the muffled conversation from within.
Are we gonna play patty cake tonight?
Marvin, I have a headache.
But you promised.
Oh, all right. But this time, take that hand buzzer off.
Valiant's eyes widen in disgust
Jesus Christ.
as he starts clicking pictures. Cut to. Is this where we switch Um,
Not
actions? Okay. Just trying to make sure. All right. Exterior, Maroon Studio, late night. There's one light on in the administration building. Interior, Maroon's office, night. There's a large Art Deco office with walls covered with photos of Maroon and various celebrities, human and toon. R.K. Maroon is seated behind his desk. Standing nearby is Valiant. They are both regarding a hysterical Roger Rabbit, who's holding a set of 8x10 glossies. Sorry. He's wailing and crying, toon tears flooding off him in a torrent.
Patty cakes, patty cakes.
Baker's man, but no use ruining a good pair of shoes over it.
Angle on rug. Roger's tears have formed a puddle around the desk. Valiant lifts a well-worn Oxford and shakes the water off it. Maroon hands Roger a handkerchief. Roger chews his nose. Take comfort, son. You're not the first man whose wife played patty cake on him.
I don't believe it. I won't believe it.
The pictures don't lie. Mr. Valiant here took them himself. Roger takes another look at the pictures. Close photos. They're shots of Jessica Rabbit and Marvin Acme sitting knee to knee, caught in the act of slapping palms. Really playing patty cake. Back to scene. Maroon gets up and crosses to a bar table set up by the window. He pours a drink from a crystal decanter as Roger starts sobbing again.
But Jessie, she's the light of my life. The apple of my eyes. The cream in my coffee.
Valiant eyes the booze longingly as he mutters to himself.
Well, you better start thinking about drinking it black.
Frankly, I'm shocked. Marvin Acme's been my friend and neighbor for 30 years. Maroon gestures out the window. We see a blinking neon sign on the roof of the building across the street. Acme. If it's Acme, it's a gasser. Who would have thought he was the sugar daddy? Maroon turns and carries the drink to Roger. Meanwhile, Valiant sidles over to the bar to help himself. Well, the important thing now, Roger, is to put all this behind you. Drink this, son. You'll feel better. Roger takes a glass and shoots it down with one gulp. I know this all seems painful now, but you'll find someone new. Won't he, Mr. Valiant? Eddie has just picked up the decanter to pour one for himself.
Well, oh yeah, good-looking guy like him seems to be breaking his door down.
Close, Roger. The booze is taking its effect. There's a rumple-like volcano about to erupt. Suddenly, Roger's head turns into a tuned steam whistle. Shrieking, the high pitch causes glass objects in the room to shatter, including the crystal decanter that Valiant's holding in his hand. It explodes, soaking his suit with booze. Valiant looks down at the damage, completely exasperated.
Son of a bitch! Oh, Mr. Maroon, I think I'll be going now, so about the rest of my fee.
Sure, Valiant. Sure. Maroon sits at the desk and writes a check. Being experienced in these matrimonial matters, you have any advice for our friend here? Valiant crosses to the desk and takes the check.
My advice, hop on over to Reno, get yourself a quickie divorce.
Divorce? Never!
Suddenly, Roger jumps onto Maroon's desk and grabs Valiant by the lapels.
Marriage is the two-way street, and we just experiencing a detour. Jessica and I are going to get back together. We're going to be happy. HIPPI!
Roger zips off the desk and crashes out the window, leaving a rabbit outline in the glass, backlit by a blinking Acme sign. Maroon and Valiant walk to the window and look out the rabbit-shaped hole in the window.
Roger,
But-
sit. Well,
At least he took it well, didn't he?
All right, Jackson, there you go. You're 3, right?
Yes. Pull back to reveal the bottles on the floor. Next to the couch, Valiant passes out on. He's still dressed in his clothes. Pan the small studio apartment. In the kitchen enclave, Valiant has created a makeshift darkroom. We see a curtain on the clothesline. Valiant's various trays and some picture clips on the clothespin. The pictures depict Jessica Rabbit and Marvin Alkline in various states of patty cake. Now there is a loud pounding on the door, but it doesn't break through Valiant's subconscious for several seconds. Finally, he revolts, gets up and walks a crooked line in the dark, crooked line to the door. Valiant opens it and squirts into the excruciating sunlight. When his eyes reveal a hang dog police detective holding Eddie's morning paper.
Lieutenant Santino, how are you doing?
Santino ignores the question and regards Valiant with mixtures of disgust and pity.
Tell me you didn't do a snoop job for a tune named Roger the rabbit.
That's what you That's what you woke me up for.
Satanio flops open the morning paper. Valiant's eyes narrow as he reads it. The headline screams, "Tune kills man." And underneath, Marvin Alkline murdered at the hands of jealous rabbit. Santino throws the paper on the sofa.
You got trouble, Eddie.
Exterior Alkline factory day. An LA police car turns into the yard of an Alkline factory and pulls up in front of an old factory building. There's all kinds of official activities in the yard. Cop cars and a coroner's truck, Lecteria. Valentino's Valiant, oh my gosh, and Santino get out of the police car. Santino starts into the factory, but he realizes Valiant's not following him. He turns to see Valiant looking over the wall behind the factory. Transfixed.
Now what?
Just haven't been this close to Toontown for a while.
Valiant's POV. The sky above the wall in the different colors is a different color, a little bit more vibrant, a toon blue. You might call it Santino. You might call it. Santino walks back and takes Valiant's arms.
Let's go. Somebody wants to see you.
Santino leads Valiant into the factory. Interior factory day. It's a large warehouse filled with stacks of toon gags, boxes of dynamite, giant slingshots, boulders, everything you've ever seen in a Roadrunner cartoon. Santino stops where a large black safe is impeded at the cocked angle in the floor. A forensics team is at work around the safe. They're chalking an outline around the body, half obscured by the safe.
They say the rabbit got the safe idea from a cartoon he was making the other day.
What a gasser!
Wait here.
Santino walks to Alkine's glassed office, where a sobbing Jessica Rabbit is being interrogated. We can only see her, not the person doing the interrogation. Valiant slides over to where the forensics guys are dusting the photographs he had taken for prints. One of the forensic guys look up from his work. Forensic 1. Say, didn't you used to be Eddie Valiant? Valiant ignored the sling and arrows and surveys the scene of the crime. The door of the safe is ajar. Valiant tries to look inside. Forensics 2 closes the door with his knee. Now we hear the voice of Jessica Rabbit from behind.
Mr. Valiant?
Valiant turns to the voice. Wasp. Jessica slaps him hard across his face to make his head turn.
I hope you're proud of yourself.
She turns on her heel and stomps off, sobbing into a handkerchief. Valiant, rubbing his jaw, looks after her. So does the forensics guy. Forensics 1. She likes you, Valiant.
When they drew her, they broke the pencil.
Now, 2 white jackets from the coroner's office starts to carry Alkline off out on the stretcher. As they pass Valiant, a hand still wearing a hand buzzer flopping out. Valiant grabs it, stopping the stretcher.
Makes you wonder what in the world she was doing with a guy who didn't clean his fingernails.
Close hand. Impeded under the fingernails is a reddish-brown substance. So it's blood. Peeling a piece of it off, it chips and falls to the ground. He squats to examine it.
It's not blood, it's paint.
Suddenly, the end of the cane comes down on Valiant's hand, pinning it to the floor. Valiant follows the cane up, and it gravel shape head past black pants, a black robe to a cadaver like completed face, a large hooked probes. The head is shaved, rimless tinted glasses obscuring the eyes. Although he's human, the total appearance is frightening, vulture-like. Judge Doom is accommodated by Santino.
Is this man removing evidence from the scene of a crime?
No, Judge Doom. Valiant over here was just about to hand it over. Weren't you, Valiant?
I'll take that.
Doom takes his cane off of Eddie's hand and reaches out for the paint chip. Valiant's palms a piece and drops a smaller piece into Doom's hand. Doom examines it.
Looks like the deceased grabbed a handful of your client's pantaloons, Mr. Valiant.
Valiant stands to face the judge, who towers over him.
Well, he's not my client. I was working for RK Maroon.
Yes, we talked to Mr. Maroon. he told us the rabbit became quite agitated when you showed him the pictures, and said nothing would stand in the way of him getting his wife back. Is this true?
Hey, pal, do I look like a stenographer?
Watch your mouth, Eddie. He's a judge.
Doom smiles thinly at Valiant, turns, and walks with purpose towards the door. Santino and Valiant follow.
The rabbit's movements are fairly clear. After leaving the Maroon studio, he ran across the street, jimmied this door open, hoisted the safe on the block and tackle.
Exterior Alkine factory. Doom leads them outside and identifies a window.
Then stood out here waiting for his prey. After he cold-bloodedly accomplished his task, he went home. He was almost apprehended there by my men.
Doom nodded his head towards a group of Sincier's wrestlers. A La Disney Wind in the Willows. They're loitering by a dog catcher wagon with Toontown Control on the side, cleaning their fingernails with switchblades and polishing Toon revolvers.
Men.
Men? They look more like weasels to me.
Yes, I find that weasels have a special gift for the work. The rabbit didn't contact you by any chance, did he?
Why would he contact me? I just took some lousy pictures.
So, you wouldn't have any idea where he might be?
Have you tried Walla Walla? Kokomo's very nice at this time of year.
Doom steps into Valiant's face.
I'm surprised you aren't more cooperative, Mr. Valiant. A human has been murdered by a Toon. Don't you appreciate the magnitude of that? My goal of Judge of Toontown has been to rein in the insanity, to bring a semblance of law and order to a place where no civilized person has ever been able to step foot. The only way to do that is to make the Toons respect the law.
Suddenly, Yahoo Honey interrupts his participation as a scuffly little Toon Grover comes hurling over the wall from the Toontown side. He's holding has blackened rear end. Apparently, the results of the run-in with the stick of dynamite. Boink! The gopher hits the Doom in the back of the head, sending them both swirling. The gopher picks himself up and shakes off the effect of the concussion. When he sees who he knocked down, he panics. Ooh. Judge Dome, here, let me get that for you. Oh. He whips a clothes brush out of the back pocket and furiously tries to clean the judge's cloak off. Doom picks up the gopher and scruffs of his neck and gets to his feet.
Why, you filthy little vagrant. You've soiled my robe.
It's clean up real good, Judge.
You defiled a symbol of justice.
As Doom carries the gopher to the Toontown control wagon, Valiant shoots a look to Santino.
Where'd this gargoyle come from anyway?
No one knows. He bought the election back a few years. He's been ruling Toontown ever since.
When Doom gets to the wagon, the weasels open up the back in place of steel bars in a stream of fluid. A weasel turns a key and the flow of liquid stops. The gopher starts kicking furiously, trying to avoid lockup. Oh, no, Judge, please, let me go. I think I hear my mother calling me. Finally, the gopher breaks free and makes a desperate dash for the wall. Doom watches him run and calmly turns to where his car's parked. It's a black Lincoln touring car with an ugly bird-like hood ornament.
Voltaire, the gopher.
Suddenly, the hood ornament squawks to life. It's a hideous Toon vulture. The vulture flaps into flight. Just as the gopher is about to make it over the top of the wall, the vulture talons sink into his rear end and lifts him airborne. The vulture drops the gopher off with the weasels. They pin him down. Hey, don't! I have any rights?
Yes, you do. To a swift and speedy trial.
One of the weasels retrieve a briefcase from a Sudan, puts it on the hood, and snaps it open. 12 Toon kangaroos pop up, arranged in a jury box.
Court is now in session.
He wraps the gopher on the head with the gavel end of his cane.
The defendant is charged with vagrancy, assault, and resisting arrest. How do you find him?
The kangaroos court delivers the verdict instantly. 12 little kangaroos pop up out of their mama's pouch, holding up small cards, each with a letter spelling you guilty.
Guilty as charged. Case closed.
Doom slams a briefcase shut. He turns his attention back to Gopher.
I hereby sentence you to the dip.
Oh no, not the dip! Anything but the dip! I'm too young to die! As the judge pulls on the black rubber glove, the weasels take out a stainless steel tub, wheezing with static glee. They fill it from the spit glot of the truck.
What's with the dip?
That's how it gets rid of the troublemakers. It's a combination of acetone, turpentine, and paint remover. He calls it the final solution.
The gopher is waggling and screaming bloody murder as Doom lifts him up and holds him over the tub. Then as he lowered into the solution, he starts to disappear. His pathetic screams are snuffed mid-yelp. Help! 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 The gopher's gone. All that's left of him is the paint stick on the surface of the liquid.
Jesus!
Doom pulls off the black rubber glove, finger by finger, and hands them to the weasels. He
They're,
turns.
they're not kid gloves, Mr. Valiant. But that's how we handle things in Toontown. I would think you'd appreciate that.
He gets into his car. He pauses and looks back at Valiant.
After all, didn't a tune kill your brother?
Interior terminal bar day. Dolores is behind the bar, cutting lemon peels and preparing for the day's bartending. There's one early customer, a gray-haired trolley man in a red car uniform. His hat's on the stool next to him, and he's already drunk. The door opens. It's Valiant. He walks over to the bar, reaches for a bottle and a shot glass to help himself. Dolores picks up a copy of the morning paper.
Hey, Eddie, looks like you really stepped in it this time.
What are you complaining about? Where's your $50? Here's your $50.
Valiant slides the check across the bar. 35 years, and all I got to show for it is a ticket punch.
What's with Elle?
A new outfit bought the red car. Some big company called Cloverleaf Industries.
No kidding. Bought the red cars? Huh?
Bastards put him on notice.
Valiant picks up his glass, lifting it in toast to Trolleyman.
Well, here's to the peaceful pushers. May they all get lead poisoning.
Now the Trolleyman unsteadily climbs up on the stool to get close to the Holy Grail, the red car route map over the bar. The old number 6 lane. What did I thought? They closed that one down.
Eddie, get him down from there. He's gonna break his neck.
Eddie grabs Earl and around the legs and throws him over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. He carries him over to the booth and puts him down carefully, covering him with a tablecloth. Took you right to Toontown. It did.
I know. Poor S.O.B.
Valiant walks back to his drink at the bar.
Do you think the rabbit did it?
I don't want to think. I want to drink.
Make make that around. Valiant and Dolores look down at the bar, but there's no one. Finally, a familiar cowlick of Baby Herman rises to the top of the bar as he chambers up a bar stool.
We don't serve formula, Snookums.
You said martinis, don't ya?
Yeah,
Baby Herman slides his baby bottle down the bar to Dolores.
Make it dry. Baby doesn't like it wet. You're Valiant, right? The name's Baby Herman. I know who you are. Kinda out of your neighborhood, aren't you? Yeah, I had to go slumming. See, a friend of mine's been framed. You mean the rabbit? They got him cold. You don't believe that. I mean, the guy's an idiot, a moron, a complete fool, and he'd never kill anyone. I know, the guy.
Dolores brings Baby Herman his baby bottle cocktail.
Thanks, all.
When Dolores turns around, Baby Herman pats her on the bottom.
oh, ladies' man, huh?
My problem is I got 50-year-old lust and a 3-year-old dinky. My problem is I'll come here to drink in peace, so if you don't mind, come on, Valiant. Doesn't this whole thing smell a bit funny to you? I mean, no offence, but how did a mucky muck like R.E. Maroon find you in the first place, sir?
Yeah, Eddie, it's not like you got an ad in the Yellow Pages.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Another thing. The paper said no will was found, but every toon knows Acme had a will. In it he promised to leave Toontown to the Toons. So where is it then? Somebody took it from him. That's what the whole thing's about.
The paper said the safe door was opened, Eddie.
Stick to stuff in the olives, will you, Dolores? My hunch is it was Maroon. He always was after Acme's property. Yeah, does he wear pants this colour?
Valiant takes the paint chip out of his pocket and dangles it in front of baby Herman.
No, but neither does Roger. That's Diablo Red. Roger's pants are sunrise orange.
Well, I'll be.
So what's your next move, Valiant? My next move? That's easy. I'm getting up and I'm walking out the door and I'm going home to bed.
Valiant stands.
So you're not even gonna bother to find out if the rabbit's getting framed?
He's a toon. Who cares?
Baby Herman shakes his head sorrowfully. And Valiant's head heads for the door. Dolores wraps his towel down off the bar.
Well, you used to care, Eddie. And it didn't matter if a client's skin was black, white, or painted. Valiant ignores her and walks out the door. Interior, Valiant's house, day. Eddie comes in the door with his coat over his shoulder. He tosses the jacket over the chair and walks to the Murphy bed. He grabs the strap and loosens his tie, walks away from the hall, pulling the bed down. What he doesn't see is Roger Rabbit asleep in the bed. Valiant, still with his back to Roger, sits down exhaustedly on the bed and kicks off his shoes. He lies back, pulls the covers over him. He closes his eyes, rolls over to get comfortable. Now he and Roger are nose to nose. They both open their eyes at the same time. They freak.
Ah!
Ah!
They
What
both
the
jump out of the bed.
What the hell are you doing?
I needed a place to hide. I'm in trouble, Eddie.
Oh, so I hear. Even talking to you should get me a rap for aiding and abetting.
Don't worry, Eddie. No one knows I'm here.
Oh yeah, then how do you find my house?
Well, I asked the new newsboy on the corner. No, he didn't know. Then I asked the janitor and the fireman, and finally the green grocer down the way. He was very helpful.
In other words, the whole goddamn world knows you're here. Out! Get out!
Eddie tries to open the door, but Roger blocks it spider-like, arms and legs extended.
Please, Eddie, don't put me out. I did not do it. I swear.
Valiant gives up trying to open the door and grabs Roger. He pulls and he pulls. Finally, Roger snaps off like a broken rubber band. The two of them go tumbling backward. Valiant makes a grab for Roger, but he slips out of his grasp like quicksilver.
Sure, I wanted to win Jesse back, but not that way.
Valiant lunges again. Roger dodges.
And after I left you, I went to see her at the Ink and Paint Club.
Valiant picks himself up and tries to catch his breath.
Oh,
She was on stage. I found a piece of paper and we wrote her a love letter.
Roger pulls a piece of paper out of his pocket and starts reading.
Dear Jessie, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. 1 to 1,000, 2 to 2,000, 3 to 1,000.
Valiant leaps for Roger and gets him by the throat. He rips the paper out of Roger's hand and crumples it up and throws it down. He opens the door, throws Roger outside, and quickly slams the door shut. He leans against it, breathing hard. Suddenly, Roger comes through the mail slot like a limbo dancer. Valiant, too tired to chase him, just watches him.
Hey, that was nice.
He retrieves the love letter, straightens it, and puts it back in his pocket.
It took me almost an hour to compose that. But I decided not to leave it anyways. I read it in person. That was my plan.
Valiant crosses to the kitchen area where the dark room is still set up. He opens the cabinet under the sink and comes out with a bottle of scotch. He takes a shot glass and pours himself one.
Look, pal, if you're still here when I finish this drink, I'm calling the police.
Don't do that. I'm innocent. I'll tell you. The police just dipped me. They were waiting for me when I got home last night. I ran.
Well, if you're so innocent, why'd you run?
Gee, Eddie, I'm a rabbit. We always run.
Valiant shoots the drink down and holds up the empty glass.
Well, that's it.
He crosses to the phone on the counter. He lifts the receiver and starts to dial.
Well, this is a moment of truth. And I've spoken the truth. But you won't believe the truth. So I guess the truth is my goose is cooked. My hash and slugged. My fate is... I complied.
As Valiant finishes dialing, he idly puts the empty shot down on a photograph on the counter.
Won't anything change your mind?
Valiant turns from the pleading rabbit. Now something he sees on the counter gets his attention.
Oh,
Point of view through shot glass. The shot glass is resting on one of the reject pictures of Acme and Jessica. The bottom of the glass is magnifying the back of the exuberant Marvin Acme. Sticking out of his back pocket is a legal folder headed Last Will and Testament.
oh,
He looks as if the truth had just hit him in the face.
the goddamn will.
LAPD.
Valiant slowly returns the phone to the cradle.
Mean you believe me?
Now, outside, we hear tires screeching to a stop. Roger runs to the window and pulls back the drapes. His eyes bug out of his head.
It's too control.
Valiant comes to the window and looks out too. Valiant's point of view. The tune control wagon is stopped in front of the house. The weasels pile out. One of them takes what looks like a butterfly net out of the back. Several others grab violin cases. Eddie and Roger. Valiant jerks Roger back to the curtain. Behind the curtain.
Get away from that window. Get away.
Roger, elated, jumps into Valiant's arms.
You're gonna help me. How could I ever thank you?
He plants a big, wet tune kiss on Valiant's lips.
Well, for starters, don't ever kiss me.
Exterior, bungalow. The weasels are filing up the walk to the front door. The leader pounds on the front door.
Police.
Interior bungalow. Valiant puts Roger down.
I'll talk to him. Find a place to hide.
Roger zips to the closet door and goes inside.
Not in there. That's the first place they'll look.
Valiant goes to the closet and opens the door. Reveal, Roger is now dressed in Eddie's trench coat and hat. Playfully, Roger snaps one of the handcuffs onto Eddie's wrist. He's got the other attached to one of his wrists.
Eddie Valiant, you're under arrest. Just kidding.
You idiot, I lost the key for those cuffs.
Boom, boom, boom. The knocking is more impatient. Valiant looks to the door.
Open up!
Exterior, Valiant's door. The weasels open the violin cases and take out real Tommy guns and shoulder them in teams of 2. Suddenly, they unleash a torrent of machine gun fire, making the outline of a weasel in the door with bullets. The leader blows on the cutout and it falls in. The weasels file through one by one. Interior apartment. The weasels don't bother to look around. They all just start blasting. Bullets fly every which way. The barrage destroys Valiant's apartment in a matter of seconds. When the shooting stops and the smoke clears, the weasels look around. The head weasel spots blood all over the kitchen floor.
We got him.
But when he looks behind the counter, it's only a shattered ketchup bottle. Exterior, rear of apartment. Eddie and Roger, handcuffed together, are beating it down the alley. Roger, being a rabbit, is beating it a lot faster. He's kicking up dust. His legs are a blur. Valiant stumbles trying to keep up. When they round the corner, Roger slams on the brakes, Toon style. Valiant goes skidding past him and is jerked to a stop like a dog on a short leash.
Oh, hey, what do you think you're doing?
Sorry, Eddie. I forgot you weren't a dude.
Don't ever forget that.
Exterior, bungalow, back window. The weasels. The weasels come piling out of the window. They start sniffing the ground. Suddenly, one of them freezes on point like a dog. Another blows a hunter's horn, and they're off to the trail. Exterior, street, Eddie and Roger. They emerge from the alley, pause momentarily to reconnoiter. Eddie decides to go left, Roger right. When they get to the end of the cuffs, they snap back into a pile. Valiant gets back to his feet and hauls Roger up angrily.
This way, goof!
They start across the street, but Roger goes on one side of the street, Eddie the other. Roger coils around it like a tetherball. Valiant yanks Roger off the sign, and they duck across the street just as a trolley car passes. The weasels. They come bloodhounding around the corner. They search the street for signs of the fugitive, but when they get to the trolley tracks, they stop, bewildered.
Shent's cold.
He points down towards the trolley car pulling into the terminal station. They fall all over themselves, scurrying over to the trolley. They surround it and jump aboard, Tommy gun at the ready. Interior red car. The conductor raises his hand like it was a holdup. A couple of passengers scream as the weasels search the car, but no Roger or Eddie. As quickly as they got on, they get off. Exterior red car. As it pulls away, the weasels look around, perplexed.
Funny, I swear I could smell rabbit.
Angle from above. Eddie and Roger are balanced on the trolley wire above the weasels' heads. As the weasels sniff around the barn, Eddie and Roger ease along the wire, using the wall of the terminal bar to lean on. Interior terminal bar, kitchen. Dolores is preparing corned beef and cabbage. The radio is playing Mars Eat Oats. A newscaster breaks into the music. Newsflash. Hollywood. Citywide tune hunt for Roger Rabbit. Suspect in Acme slaying. Police describe him as a short, cuddly, psychotic rabbit. Dolores turns just as Roger's grinning face appears in the window. Mother Mary! Now Eddie's face comes into view. He motions for her to open the window. outside the window. Roger and Eddie watch another trolley approach. The contact arm sparks its way along the wire as it rolls along towards them. Valiant watches as Dolores struggles to get the window open.
Hurry, hurry! Come on!
At the last, the window opens. Eddie jumps for Syl, Roger dangling from the cuffs as the trolley passes. Interior kitchen. Dolores helps pull Valiant through the window. Then he drags Roger inside. Jesus, Eddie, is this who I think it is?
Dolores, meet Roger Rabbit.
Roger bows at the waist, taking her hand and kisses it like Charles Boyer.
Charmed, enchanted, pleasure all mine.
Where'd you find him?
The Toon Fairy left him under my pillow.
Now Roger spots a plate of freshly shucked corn.
May I?
Before she can answer, he grabs an ear, pressing it to his lips, and applies the typewriter method to it. When he gets to the end of a row, we even hear this bing. He's a riot.
Oh, yeah? Well, you're right handcuffed to him. Anyone in the back room?
It's all yours. Switch now, or I can keep going.
Yeah, 4 more pages. We're on 44.
Okay, 4 more pages. Okay. We follow Dolores as she leads Valiant and Roger across the hall. She stops at the door, unlocks it, and leads them in. Interior back room. It's a tiny storage room/office with an institutional metal desk, a cot, and assorted janitorial supplies stacked around. Dolores shuts and locks the door behind her. Valiant goes to a metal locker and digs through some tools, coming out with a hacksaw. He sits on the cot and starts working on the cuffs. So, you decided to help him after all?
Well, I ought to have my head examined. Will you hold still?
Roger quiets like a child for a moment as Valiant saws feverishly. Then slips his hand off the cuff and holds his side while Eddie keeps sawing.
Does this help?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah.
Valiant saws a couple more strokes before the realization of what Roger's done hits him. His face darkens. Roger sees the look and sheepishly tries to recover by sticking his hand back in the cuff.
You mean to tell me you could have taken your hand out of that cuff at any time?
Well, no, not any time. Only when it was funny.
Oh.
Valiant looks at Roger like he's about to brain him. Roger pulls his hand free again and cowers out of range. Valiant just rubs his forehead.
Are you always this funny, or only on days when you wanted for murder?
My philosophic, whatever, is if you don't have a sense of humor, you're better off dead.
Well, you might just get your wish.
Can you get him out of it, Eddie?
Oh, if I could find whoever wanted to kill Acme bad enough to get this.
Valiant throws the patty cake picture down on the table. Dolores and Roger both examine it closely. Acme's will.
So that's what a little drama is all about.
Yeah, and I think Maroon plays the part of the sound mind, your wife, the sound body.
I represent the innutable. My wife is completely innocent.
Your wife might be a lot of things, pal, but innocent ain't one of them.
So, what's the scam, Eddie?
Maybe Baby Herman was right. Somebody wants Acme's property. Cack the old man, pin it on Roger, and destroy the will.
That hubris' corpse is thickening.
Yeah, except they screwed up. I don't think they got the will.
How do you know that?
Well, Acme had the will in his pocket that night at the club. It was gone in the morning when the cops found the body.
Maybe they just took it out of his pocket.
Then why'd they bother to crack the safe? You can drop the Mosler 90 from Mount Baldy and it won't open.
Well, Mr. Smarty Pants Detective, your logic is speculous. What prevents Mr. Alkline from putting the will back in the safe before he was killed?
Because he's not 40 feet tall. The safe was up on the ceiling, remember?
Eddie, you've still got it. Hey, tomorrow maybe I'll go down to the probate court and see who's sniffing around Acme's estate.
Yeah, do that. I'm going to rattle Maroon's cage.
Valiant finishes sawing the cuffs. He stands and throws the cuffs aside. Valiant and Dolores go to the door. Roger follows them eagerly.
What should I do? What should I see? Where should I go?
Valiant turns to him.
Nothing. No one. Nowhere.
He slams the door. Interior polo lounge. Close. Maroon is in a booth in the middle of a business lunch.
And that would be switching narrators to narrator 5, which I think is Aubrey. Is that Aubrey? No, that's me. Sorry.
No, I think of narrator 6, yeah.
Interior polo lounge, close on Maroon. He's in a booth in the middle of a business lunch. Maroon. That's you, Aubrey.
Yeah, sorry about that. Maybe money grows on trees in Toontown, but not at Maroon's studio.
Widen shot to reveal that Maroon's sharing a booth with Bugs Bunny and his agent. Bugs is chewing on a carrot. Whoever is Bugs, I think, is muted.
I thought it was me, but it wasn't. Yeah, I thought it. Yeah, it's me. Okay, I thought it was me. Look, Doc, fiduciary considerations aside, Roger Rabbit may have been willing to play second banana to an ankle biter, but I ain't.
Across the room, a Mater D is leading Valiant and Augie, the deaf mute, to a table by the door.
This'll be fine, huh, Augie?
Augie nods his head. They sit and pick up menus. Augie takes one peek and looks at Valiant alarmed. He scribbles a note. Valiant reads it.
Forget about the prices, pal. If you want the shrimp cocktail, you have the shrimp cocktail. Oh, excuse me, Augie. I got a little table hopping to do.
Valiant gets up from the table and starts across the room. At Maroon's booth...
I think you should know, RK. We're in negotiations for Bugs to star in his own series at Warner Brothers.
Trying to scare me up a bidding war between me and Jack Warner, eh? Well, that won't work. I'll call William Morris, and I'll have him put out a rabbit call for the likes of which this town's never seen. It's your dime, Doc. And stop calling me Doc! Sure, Doc.
Now Valiant arrives, pulls a chair from the table and sits down.
Hi, Mr. Maroon. Remember me? Remember me?
What are you doing here?
I just thought I'd drop by and show you a photograph.
I've already seen your photographs.
Yeah, but I enlarged this one. Thought you might be interested.
Valiant takes an enlargement of the patty cake shot and puts it on the table in front of Maroon. We can clearly see the will sticking out of Acme's pocket.
Anyway, enjoy your lunch.
Valiant stands and departs, but his visit has done its trick. Maroon looks like he's seen a ghost. We follow Valiant across the room to his table where Augie is blissfully attacking a shrimp cocktail.
How's that, Augie? Pretty good?
Augie nods enthusiastically. Valiant keeps an eye on Maroon's booth. Now he nudges Augie as Maroon excuses himself and goes into the phone booth just outside the door. Augie puts his shrimp fork down and picks up his pencil. Augie's point of view. We see Maroon talk on the phone MOS. As his lips move, Valiant supplies the words.
It's me. Valiant says there's a will. I don't know what he's trying to pull.
Back to scene. Valiant is reading of Augie's pad as Augie reads Maroon's lips and scribbles down what he says.
Somebody's going to have to take care of him.
Augie looks up from his scribbling to exchange an eyebrow-raising glance with Valiant. Then he turns back to Maroon again.
The old man had it at the club that night. That's right, yeah, I'm sure. I'll be there.
Augie stops writing as Maroon hangs up the phone.
Where?
Augie shrugs his shoulders. Disappointed, Valiant lights a cigarette. Now Augie elbows him and gestures across at Maroon, who's making another call. Augie starts writing again.
Iris, cancel my appointments this afternoon. I'll be at Forest Lawn.
Maroon hangs up the phone and comes out of the phone booth. He hustles out of the room. Valiant stands.
You did great, Oggy. Have another shrimp cocktail.
Valiant drops a 20 on the table and pats Augie on the back. Exterior, Beverly Hills Hotel. A car hop wheels a yellow Packard up in front. Maroon climbs in and roars off. Valiant enters the frame. He looks after Maroon and then calmly starts walking down the driveway. Exterior, Forest Lawn Cemetery, red car stop, day. A red car pulls up. Valiant climbs off. He calmly crosses the street and ducks behind the cemetery entranceway as Maroon's Packard roars through.
Love that red car. Ooh.
As Valiant starts to walk up the hill, we cut to the Acme funeral site, a long shot, day. A hearse and a line of black limos are parked in the lane. Nearby, Marvin Acme's funeral is in progress. Clustered around the gravesite are the mourners, tunes of every stripe. There's Mickey Mouse, comforting Minnie, Tom and Jerry, Heckle and Jekyll, Chip and Dale. Everyone from the famous to the not-so-famous is in attendance. The eulogy is being delivered in a familiar, blustery southern voice. It's Foghorn Leghorn.
Today we commit the body of Brother Acme to the ground. I say cold, cold ground. We shed no tears, for we know that Marvin is going to a better place. That I say, that hilarious place in the sky.
Foghorn Leghorn dramatically points skyward. Amen. New angle on Valiant. Valiant is leaning up against a palm tree on the hill. We have been watching the proceedings from his point of view. Now he sees Maroon's car pull up. He moves around to the other side of the tree as Maroon passes and starts wending his way through the crowd. At the gravesite, Foghorn Leghorn nods to the funeral director, a pasty-faced human in a black mourning coat. The director starts to turn the crank, lowering the coffin into the grave.
Give us a sign, Brother Herman, that you have arrived.
Much to the funeral director's amazement, the crank starts plinking out the tune to Pop Goes the Weasel. Now the tune mourners pick up and join in.
Round and round the mulberry bush, the monkey chased the weasel.
The song and the crank and the songs are going faster and faster.
The monkey did it, sold the money, pop goes the weasel.
Suddenly, half of the lid to Acme's coffin flies open, and a harlequin clown boing out. The funeral director faints dead away as the tune's sobs turn to laughter. The tunes turn and head away from the grave, comforted by a funeral befitting a gag king. They climb into their cars and screech off like the start of the Indy 500. One mourner is left at the gravesite. Sitting in a chair, dabbing at her eyes with a handkerchief, is Jessica Rabbit. Maroon walks up behind her.
So, tried to pull a fast one on me, huh?
Jessica turns, startled. She stands and faces Maroon. Valiant smiles and leans in. This is just the moment he's been waiting for. Now, as the conversation begins, it is drowned out by the noise from a lawnmower. Valiant turns to see a gardener riding around on a small tractor cutting the grass. Valiant tries to flag him down as he watches Maroon and Jessica having an argument. There's accusatory finger pointing. In pantomime, Maroon gestures into his pocket as if describing the position of Acme's will. Jessica tries to leave. Key grabs her arm. They're screaming at each other, but we don't hear a word. Valiant waves frantically for the gardener to cut the machine, but the gardener misconstrues it as a friendly greeting and waves back. Valiant turns in time to see Jessica kick Maroon in the groin and stomp off to a red Auburn speedster. She jumps in and speeds away as Maroon staggers back to his car. The gardener stops the tractor next to Valiant. He shuts off the engine. The cemetery is completely still again. Something you want, mister?
Not anymore.
Exterior Ink and Paint Club, alley night. A Steinway piano truck is parked next to the stage door. Two husky piano movers are rolling a baby grand up the ramp to the stage door. They knock on the door. The gorilla opens it and they muscle the piano inside. After a moment, they reemerge. We follow them to the back of the truck, where a second baby grand stands ready to be moved.
I don't know about you, but it makes me sick to think of these beautiful pianos getting chopped into matchsticks every night by those screwy ducks.
Struggling, they push this second piano into the club. Your club backstage. They roll the piano over to the wall and park it next to the first. And they call it entertainment. As they go out the stage door, move in on the baby grand. Inside the piano, Valiant is lying prone, using the Steinway as his own Trojan horse. He lifts the piano lid to climb out, but he hears footsteps approaching. He lowers the lid again. Now someone has started testing the keys. We see the hammers strike the strings, running up the scales, da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, until they reach the one under Valiant's nose. The hammer tickles Valiant's nose on the backswing and strikes the string, making a terrible, sour note. Very out of control, out of tune again.
Don't worry, Donald. We can fix that with my sledgehammer.
Never mind, Daffy. I've got an axe in my dressing room. Valiant's eyes widen. Angle on the piano as the voices of Daffy and Donald recede. Valiant raises the lid and quickly climbs out. He eases over to Jessica's dressing room. As he starts to open the door, he hears scuffling from inside. Valiant puts his ear to the door. More scuffling. Valiant straightens and then suddenly whips the door open and flicks on the light. Into your dressing room, nobody's there. Perplexed, Valiant closes the door behind him and checks behind the dressing screen. In the closet, no one. He shrugs and starts to search the room. He goes to Jessica's dressing table and rifles the drawers. In her purse, he discovers a Toon revolver. He examines it.
Oh, girl's got to protect herself.
Valiant puts the gun back in the purse and closes the drawer. As he stands, he pauses to consider a Hurl-like black and white photo of Roger Rabbit in a silver deco frame. He's dramatically poised with a cigarette like he was Tyrone Power. Valiant shakes his head and turns on the table. Something catches his eye.
Ah,
Angle on the floor. Behind the dressing table, the corner of a piece of blue paper peeks out. Valiant stoops down and fishes it out. It's a cover for a legal document. Last Will and Testament, Marvin Acme. Valiant, pleased. He opens a blue folder. But it's empty. Valiant puts it inside his inside pocket and turns to go when suddenly an unseen hand flicks the lights off.
son of a bitch.
We can't see anything in the darkness, but we hear the sound of a fistfight. There's a crashing of lamps and furniture breaking. The door opens for a second time as the assailant escapes. Light floods into the room, illuminating Valiant on the floor with a curtain wrapped around his head. As he struggles free, the door closes. The room is dark again. Valiant scrambles to the door. When he whips it open, reveal the gorilla framed in the doorway. Valiant is frozen. The gorilla flicks on the light, and he smiles wickedly.
And here I thought you had mice.
Valiant tries to make a break for it. Wham! The gorilla lays him out cold with a right cross. Blackout, fade in, Valiant's point of view from the floor. As his vision comes into focus, Valiant sees the gorilla, Jessica Rabbit, the weasels, and Judge Doom are standing over him.
I caught him rummaging around in here. Then I called you, Judge, and on a counter You'd be that one we pay just for used to.
You did the right thing, Bongo.
The weasels pull a groggy Valiant upright and plop him into a chair in front of Doom.
Being caught breaking and entering is not a very good advertising for a detective. What were you looking for, Mr. Valiant?
Ask her.
Valiant nods toward Jessica, who stands coolly smoking a cigarette.
Last week, some heavy breather wanted one of my nylons as a souvenir. Maybe that's what he was after.
Look, doll, if I wanted underwear, I would have broken into Fredericks of Hollywood. I was looking for Marvin Acme's will.
Marvin Acme had no will. I should know. The probate is in my court.
He had a will, all right. She took it off Acme the night she and R.K. Maroon knocked him off. Then she set up her loving husband to take the fall.
You, Mr. Valiant, are either drunk or punch drunk. Probably both.
These are bold accusations, Mr. Valiant. I hope you have some proof.
I found the cover of the will came in behind the dressing table.
Valiant reaches into his pocket, but the blue envelope is gone.
Oh, they must have taken it off me.
They?
But the other people who were in here looking for the will, I would have caught them if Cheetah here hadn't interrupted me.
The gorilla makes a move for Valiant. Doom.
Take it easy, Bongo. We'll handle Mr. Valiant our own way. Downtown.
Downtown? Fine. Get a hold of Santino. I'd be more than glad to talk to him.
Oh, not that downtown. Toontown.
The mention of Toontown has a visible impact on Valiant.
You're not taking me to downtown Toontown?
Indeed we are. We'll continue the interrogation there.
I ain't telling you nothing. Get me Santino.
You're a very stubborn man, Mr. Valiant. Very pig-headed. Boys, show Mr. Valiant how we handle pig-headed men at the Toontown station.
As the weasels drag Valiant out of the room,
Ow! No, you bastards! Let go of me! Let go!
and
Ugh.
narrator,
Is that me? I think I'm narrator 6.
I think that's you.
Exterior street, night. The Toon control wagon streaks along with the cat's siren wailing. It flashes by, then slams on the brakes at the entrance to an eerie tunnel. A sign to the tunnel says, Toontown. Interior wagon. The weasels look over at the bound and gagged Valiant. One of them turns Valiant's head to look at the Toontown sign. What are you shaking for? Didn't you have a good time last you were here? With the wicked wheeze, the driver floors it. Exterior tunnel. The wagon disappears near the murky darkness. Pan up to the night sky. Dissolve to the sky morning. Pan down to the tunnel. We can't see into the darkness, but we hear hooting and hollering from within. Guns going off, firecrackers exploding, whips cracking, all accompanied by the wheezing laughter of the wheezies. The weasels. See!
Let him go, boys. I think he's got the message.
After a beat, Valiant comes staggering out of the tunnel. He's got a burlap sack over his head, tied around his waist. Behind him, the weasels emerge, holding paint cans and brushes. They watch as he trips and falls by the side of the road. The weasels, Excuse me. The weasels giggle victoriously and head back inside. Valiant lies there for a moment while catching his breath. Then he struggles to free his hands. Finally, he rips the sack off. Close. Valiant. We see he's got a huge tune pig with a goofy grin painted over his head. Valiant pulls and tugs on it. But this is a costume that won't come off. Valiant curses, gets to his feet and stumbles down the road. Exterior, red car stop. Valiant gets in the back of the line of passengers boarding the red car. Interior, red car, Valiant. Steps aboard. The trolleyman, who we recognize as Earl from the terminal bar, does a double take when he sees the ridiculously silly-looking man / tune.
Hey, here over for the books. Tune wearing human clothes.
Oh, it's me, Valiant.
Eddie, Jesus, what happened?
Toon cops worked me over.
Boy, I say, that gave you a real tune-a-roo.
What am I, oh?
Earl breaks the news to Valiant soberly.
You're a pig. A happy-go-lucky pig.
Oh, no.
Does it hurt?
Not much. It's hard to talk.
Addie, do me a favor. Could you sit in the back so you won't cause as much of a commotion?
Valiant tries to pull the brim of his hat down, but it's comically small in the huge head. He makes his way down the aisle past the veritable gauntlet of razzing, poking, tripping passengers. Finally, he finds an empty seat in the back as the red car starts up. A little kid wearing a baseball cap is sitting a few seats away with his mother. The kid looks back at Eddie and laughs. He leans over and whispers something to his mom.
Can I, Mom?
Oh, go ahead, darling. Take your bat.
The kid takes his baseball bat and approaches Valiant innocently.
Hi, Mr. Pig. If I hit you on the head, will you make a cuckoo bird?
The kid starts to take a swing with the bat.
Kid, if you hit me on the head, I'm going to throw you out this window.
The kid's eyes widen in terror. This is not a typical Toon response.
Mommy.
Interior, Valiant's apartment, bathroom, day. We hear the sound of a shower. Valiant's head reaches out past the shower curtain and grabs for a bottle. But it's not shampoo, it's turpentine.
Oh, damn it.
Close. The tub drain. The water swirling down the drain is tinged with paint of different colors. Close. Valiant. He scrubs maniacally until the last of the pig head is gone. He rinses off and he feels around his face. The absence of the Toon mask seems to bring him some relief. He shuts off the shower and slides the shower curtain back. Valiant's POV. Jessica Rabbit is leaning against the door jamb, dressed as usual in a black cocktail dress with elbow-length gloves and pearls.
Hello, Mr. Valiant. I rang the doorbell, but I guess you couldn't hear it.
Well, that's because I don't have a doorbell.
Jessica, caught in her lie, flutters her eyelids nervously.
Well, I just had to see you.
Okay, you've seen me. Now give me a towel.
As she hands him a towel, she stares down at his anatomy.
What's that thing?
Valiant looks down at what she's referring to.
Come on, lady. Haven't you ever seen a mole before?
Toons aren't given imperfections.
No? I guess we're not counting lying, stealing, and murder.
You've got the wrong idea about me. I'm a pawn in this, just like poor Roger. Can you help me find him? I'll pay you anything.
Yeah, I bet you would. You've got to have a rabbit to make the scam work.
No. I just love my husband.
Oh, sure, I can just picture you standing outside your little hutch, holding a carrot cake, waiting for hubby to come home.
Please don't make fun of me, Mr. Valiant. You don't know how hard it is being a woman looking the way I do.
Yeah, well, you don't know how hard it is being a man looking at a woman looking the way you do.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
I'm not complaining, but give me credit. I'm the guy who took the pictures of you and Acme playing patty cake. Remember?
Jessica takes a cigarette out of her purse. She lights it and blows a cloud up of Toon smoke. It forms a recreation of what she describes.
Maroon came to me. He told me he'd fire Roger if I didn't do it. I went along with him for Roger's sake. It was only patty cake, after all.
Valiant waves at the smoke scene, dispelling it.
So, altruistic.
It's the truth. Why don't you believe it?
Because I don't take what Acme dumb pills. I don't know what you're up to, lady, but I'm going to nail you for the Acme murder.
If I'm as bad as you think, what's stopping me from just killing you right now?
Valiant reaches behind him and picks up a small cup on the sink.
This cup of turpentine right here. Go for that gun in your purse and I'm going to let you have it.
Jessica breaks down and starts sobbing.
Please, Mr. Valiant, please, you're my only hope.
She comes up to Eddie and hugs him, burying her head in his shoulder.
I'm weak. You're strong. Can't you find a place somewhere in your heart to help me?
Valiant looks down at the luscious creature in his arms, considering the request. The moment is interrupted by the clearing of a voice.
Dabbling in watercolors, Eddie.
Valiant, still in just the towel, sheepishly turns to face Dolores, who is standing in the doorway.
Dolores!
Dolores regards Jessica with an undisguised contempt.
Let me guess. You're a cousin from Des Moines.
Jessica straightens her dress.
Perhaps I should go. Must you? Goodbye, Eddie. Don't hate me.
Jessica blows Eddie a Toon kiss, which flies across the room, landing on Eddie's cheek. She saunters past the smoldering Dolores and out the door. Dolores walks to Eddie and peels the kiss off his cheek. She crumples it up and throws it down the wastebasket.
What was that?
That was the rabbit's wife.
That's Rabbit's wife? The Rabbit's wife? Okay. What do you want to tell me what she's doing with her arms around you?
Probably looking for a good place to stick a knife.
I just stopped by to tell you that I checked out the Acme probate.
Maroon, right?
Nope. It's that Cloverleaf outfit again.
Oh, what in the hell would they want with a gag factory?
Got me. But unless the will shows up by Friday midnight, it's theirs.
As Valiant considers this new development, he cocks an ear. In the distance, we hear faint singing.
Well, what's that coming from the bar?
Sounds like singing.
Oh, no.
As Valiant grabs his pants, cut to. Interior terminal bar day. Roger's out all right. In fact, he's using the bar as a stage for a song and dance number. The tune is extremely familiar. In fact, it's the one that opens every Warner's Brother cartoon, the Looney Tune anthem, but we've never heard the words to go with it.
Merry-go-round, break down, but you don't see me from.
Roger grabs Augie's pad and pencil, scribbles some drawings lightning fast.
Things turned out fine, and now she's mine.
Roger flips through the pad, which in crude animation shows the story of Roger and Jessica getting back together, culminating them kissing in a heart. Augie's delighted.
'Cause the merry-go-round went round. Ho, 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 ho.
Roger does backflips and acts like an escapee from the acute ward. The door opens. Eddie and Dolores enter. Valiant stops in his track at the sight of Roger's performance and the smiles on the faces of the sourpusses. Close. Roger doesn't see Eddie. He moves into the next verse. He twirls around on the post.
My name is Roger Rabbit. I've gone a crazy habit. I like to sing and dance and yerk.
Roger goes to Angelo, lifts off his cap, and whacks his toupee, making it spin like a top.
So brightening up and smiling, you smirk.
All the regulars in the bar have a good laugh at that one. Now, as Roger twirls around on the post, he smashes into a bar tray held by Eddie. Valiant carries him towards the back room, but the irrepressible entertainer gets on his knees, Al Jolson style, and blows kisses to his audience. The regulars are howling as Roger is carried out. Interior back room. Valiant flings Roger into the room and slams the door behind him.
Hey, don't I get an encore?
Why, you crazy tune, I've been out there risking my neck for you. I come back here and you're singing and dancing.
But that's my calling, my purpose, my ration. The tunes are supposed to make people laugh. And believe me, those people needed a laugh.
And when they're done laughing, they're going to call the cops. That guy, Angelo, would rat on you for a nickel.
Angelo? He's a pal, a champ.
An arsonist and a kidnapper. He just got out of prison.
Well, I still don't think he turned me in.
Just because you got him to laugh?
A laugh can be a powerful thing, Eddie. Sometimes it's the only weapon we have in life.
I think I prefer the Smith & Wesson variety.
I've met some cycle and miserable humans in my time. But you, Edward Valiant, are possibly funeral.
Well, right now it's going to be your funereal.
Valiant takes his fist back to belt Roger. Roger stands stoically, jaw thrust forward, eyes closed.
Go ahead and throw that punch. But you be more successful with a punchline.
Valiant drops his fists and rubs his temples with frustration.
Oh, you're driving me crazy, you know that? Let's go. You ruined this as a hiding place.
Valiant grabs Roger by the scruff of the neck and opens the door, but he ducks back in quickly. Valiant's POV. Through door, Judge Doom has entered the bar. He stands framed in the doorway, Voltaire perched on his shoulder. The red light of the neon sign flashes on his glasses, making him look like he's got burning coals for eyes. With the weasels at the door backing him up, the satanic Doom walks to the bar, his footsteps creaking along the wooden floor. He surveys the scene, leans over the bar for a glass. Doom holds a glass up to the light and looks at it disgustingly. He picks up a bottle of scotch and carries it down to where the one-armed soldier is sitting. Doom stares at him, then pulls the empty sleeve out of the amputee's pocket. He uses it to wipe the inside of the glass. I'm looking for a rabbit. He was last seen in this neighborhood.
The barflies avoid Doom's stare and shoot covered glances to one another, but nobody says a word. Doom pours a drink into his newly cleaned glass, then gently pours it down Voltaire's gullet.
You couldn't miss him. Buck teeth, orange pants, About yay big.
Doom squashes the midget's head down to approximate the size. There's no rabbit here, so don't harass my customers. Doom turns to Dolores.
I didn't come here to harass. I came here to reward.
Doom walks around Dolores toward the back, but Doom stops next to the blackboard. On it is written, "Today's special, French dip, 50 cents." Doom erases the French and the decimal point in front of the 50. Then he picks up the chalk and starts to write. The chalk squeaks excruciatingly on the chalkboard, the blackboard. Everyone winces but watches anyway as Doom writes rabbit, where the French was, and adds the zeros to the 50. It now reads rabbit dip, $5,000. At the bar, all eyes are fixed on the figure on the blackboard. Angelo licks his lips. Says, "Hey, I seen a rabbit." Angelo looks defensively at all his cronies and back to Doom. "He's right here in the bar." But instead of pointing to the back of the bar, he talks to the empty bar stool beside him. "Say hello, Harvey." The tension is broken. Everybody at the bar starts howling. Interior back room, Roger turns to Eddie victoriously.
My pal!
In the bar, Doom stares down the regulars until the laughter stops. Meanwhile, a weasel started sniffing around the bar where Roger was dancing. As Doom turns to leave, the weasel whispers in his ear as he points to the back. Doom smiles and pats the weasel on the head. He turns to Angelo and the others.
Now, we'll see who laughs best.
The weasel bloodhounds through the bar with Doom striding after him. We follow them to the door and to the back room. Doom rips the door open. Interior back room. It's dark. Doom flicks on the light. Reveal Valiant on the cot, his pint bottle cradled in his arm. He blinks as if awakened from a drunken slumber.
Valiant? Why is it that whenever my men smell a rabbit, you're there?
Valiant plumps the pillow behind his head.
Must be my cologne. Oh, the carrot.
He's in here all right, boss.
Suddenly, the weasel grabs the pillow from under Valiant's head and carves into it, shreds it with a switchblade. Feathers fly, but no rabbit fur.
Giz wants us to take the place apart.
The rest of the weasels are arrayed behind Doom with tomb crowbars, picks, and a jackhammer.
No, Sergeant. That won't be necessary.
Doom walks over to the locker.
I know a trick that no tune can resist.
Doom taps on the locker with his knuckles. Da, da. It's a familiar pattern that demands a da-da response. Doom moves to the desk and tries it again. Inside a Maxwell House coffee can, Roger is hiding while sweating out the urge to finish the familiar coda. We hear the rapping again. Tap, rap, close, da, 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 da. Roger's biting his nails. Doom moves over to the milk crate. The coffee can is on. Valiant gets up off the cot.
You know, Doom, I don't know who's tunier, you or the rabbit.
Doom just smiles and knocks the pattern out on the crates. Out on the crate.
Shave and a haircut.
Roger bursts out of the can with the lid on his head. He responds con brio.
Do bet. Oh.
Roger flies out the door.
Interior of the bar, he streaks across the bar and out the front door. After a beat, two weasels step into the bar holding the butterfly net they had stretched out across the door. They wheeze with glee and at the struggling Roger trapped inside. A third weasel carries the judge's briefcase. Doom strides confidently into the bar.
Oys, 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 oys! Court is now in session.
Valiant and Dolores are led out by a couple of weasels holding guns on them. As Doom snaps the briefcase open on the bar, the 12 kangaroos pop in their jury box. Doom wraps the bar with his gavel-headed cane. The regulars watch the bizarre scene in stunned silence.
Roger Rabbit is charged with cold-blooded murder of a human, Marvin Acme. The judge will direct their attention to Exhibits A, B, and C.
The weasels display photographs of Jessica and Acme playing patty cake. A blow-up of his fingerprints spelled Roger Rabbit, and the whirls on the photographs, and a picture of Acme lying under the safe.
Motive, evidence, modus operandi. How do you find the defendant?
Once again, the kangaroo court wastes no time delivering the verdict. The baby kangaroos pop up with their YOUAREGUILTY signs.
Guilty as charged. Case closed.
Doom slams the briefcase shut. Two weasels wheel the stainless steel tub filled with dip into the bar. Another hands Doom his black rubber gloves.
For this heinous crime, I sentence you to the dip.
Oh, no, not the dip. Eddie, tell him I don't do it. I didn't do it.
I don't think it's going to matter. Sorry, pal. I tried.
Yes, and for that you're charged with aiding and abetting. But we'll let Santino handle that.
Doom pulls on the rubber gloves.
Hey, doesn't the rabbit even get a last request?
A blindfold, cigarettes, oh, nose plugs. Just kidding.
I think you want a drink. How about it, Judge?
Well, why not? I'm feeling magnanimous tonight. The successful conclusion of this case draws the curtain on my career as a jurist. I'm retiring to take a new role in the private sector.
Yeah, well, don't expect the Toons to give you a gold watch.
Valiant pours a glass of whiskey, filling it all the way to the rim. He holds it out to Roger.
Here you go, kid. Say hi to Casper for me.
But Eddie, you know what happens when...
Drink it, jerk. All of it.
He grabs Roger's hand and forces the drink into it. Roger shrugs his shoulders and shoots the drink down. We've seen this reaction before. Suddenly, Roger's head turns into a steam whistle, emitting such a piercing blast that it sends everyone into ear-grabbing agony. Glasses, bottles, mirrors, even Doom's glasses shatter. Valiant uses the distraction to punch the weasels holding Roger. He grabs the rabbit by the scruff of his neck. He gets an assist from Augie, who couldn't hear the noise. Unfazed, Augie whacks a weasel on the head with a bar stool. The midget crawls behind Doom, who's been momentarily blinded. The one-armed soldier pushes over him. Angelo is turning one weasel's head around and around like a cruller. Finally, Doom gets to his feet.
After them, you fools!
As the weasels regroup, Valiant tips the stainless steel tub over, sending the dips towards them. The weasels recoil from the liquid. Even Doom takes a step backward. For your terminal bar, Eddie and Roger race down the stairs toward the Toon control wagon, which is parked in front of Doom's Lincoln.
Oh, Eddie, that was quick thinking. Nothing like using old noggin. The gray matter.
If I'm so smart, how come I'm running from the law with a tune?
Valiant opens the door of the tune control wagon and flings Roger inside roughly. Interior cab. Eddie goes to start the vehicle, but the key is gone. Now, from behind them comes a deep, rumbling voice somewhere between Lord Buckley and Barry White.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Eddie and Roger turn. A snazzy tune roadster whose grill functions as its mouth is talking from behind the liquid bars.
You affect my extrication. I could offer you some corroboration.
Valiant sighs with resignation and slides out the cab, Roger in tow. Exterior rear of wagon. Eddie and Roger come racing around the side of the wagon. Valiant searches the back of the truck for the on and off switch. He finds it and turns off the flow of acetone. The roadster zips out of the truck and lands on the pavement, already flexing and limbering. Behind him, a comical number of other tune detainees hop out like midgets out of a Volkswagen. They all head for the hills.
Well, what are you waiting for, the William Tell Overture?
Angle on the terminal bar. The weasels come piling out. They stack up like an Indian totem pole, searching every direction. One of them spots Eddie and Roger. The weasels stumble all over themselves in a mad scramble down the stairs. Eddie and Roger hop into a sleek two-seater. Valiant looks at the myriad of goofy cartoon gauges and switches on the roadster's dashboard.
What do I do?
You don't have to do nothing.
With a ferocious rubber-burning squeal, the roadster roars off in no frames. The exit is so fast that Eddie and Roger are left behind, hanging mid-air. But before they hit the ground, the roadster zips back into frame. Eddie and Roger fall back into their seats. The roadster bends around so his grill is facing them.
Except hanging to your hat.
The roadster roars off again in a cloud of tune dust. Interior, Santino's cop car. Coming the other way, it is followed by another squad car, both with sirens blaring. When the red blur streaks by it, Lieutenant Santino turns to his partner.
What the hell was that?
Feeding rabbits, Lieutenant.
That's what I was afraid of.
Exterior street. Santino's car does a 180-degree spin and goes after the roadster. The second squad car follows. The weasels pile into the tune control wagon and join the chase. Interior, the roadster. The roadster rockets down the street, then takes a turn so wide that it drives up the front of the corner building, then back down onto the sidewalk, just avoiding a newsstand. The squad car following it is not so dexterous. It crashes into the stand, sending papers flying. The roadster looks back over its shoulder, admiring his handiwork.
Read all about it. Betty's back in town.
Up ahead, an egg delivery truck is double parked in their lane. Benny snaps around just as they're about to crash into the back of the truck. There's nowhere to go, but Benny's cool.
Going up.
Suddenly, just before impact, the tune suspension on the car accordions up, giving the clearance of about 15 feet, just enough to get over the truck. The tune control wagon doesn't come with this unique feature. It tries to avoid the truck, but smashes into the back, splattering hundreds of eggs and sending the weasels flying. Eddie and Roger look down from their suspended position at the chaos behind.
Next floor, sundries. Knickknacks, escape convicts. Watch your step.
The roadster accordions back down to its original height and speeds past two motorcycle cops. The motorcycles roar after them.
Hey, Benny, what were you in for?
Reckless driving. Do you believe that?
Well, it's hard to imagine.
Benny zigzags through traffic, scooting between cars, but the motorcycle cops manage to stay on his tail.
Up ahead, traffic is stopped in his lane. With nowhere to go, Benny passes a trolley car moving down the center of the street. Suddenly, he swerves in front of the trolley to elude the cops, only to see another red car coming the other way.
Hold your breath, babies.
Benny sucks in his girth and puts on his tiptoes as the trolleys pass on either side of them. Wide shot when the trolleys look clear. Benny staggers out from between them, still on tiptoes. Benny plops down, squashes, squats, squashes, and then pops up to his old self again. Behind them, the crippled tune control wagon is struggling to keep up. Voltaire circles above the truck and picks two weasels up off the roof. They're each carrying several sticks of dynamite. From the air, we see Voltaire flying after the roadster, which is speeding along the palm-lined Elysian Park Drive. The weasels light the dynamite sticks and with wheezing delight bombard the car below. Ben swerves right and left, dodging the explosions. Now a stick of dynamite falls into the back seat, fuse burning. Benny looks back.
Hate to sound like Chicken Little, but is the Scotch falling or what?
Eddie and Roger turn to see the dynamite, fuse burning low. Valiant makes a desperate grab for it, but it rolls under the front seat. Roger jumps in Eddie's lap. Above, Voltaire and the weasels, satisfied with what they've hit, which was their target, they swoop back to the tune control wagon. In the roadster, Valiant tries to untangle himself from Roger.
Oh, grab it, you idiot!
Finally, at the last second, Roger reaches down and picks the dynamite up like a hot potato. He flips it out of the roadster. The dynamite spins through the air, finally landing on the roof just as Voltaire and the weasels arrive. Boom! The tune control wagon is demolished when the smoke clears. The weasels and Voltaire scattered roadside, faces blackened, feathers smoking. Exterior, Echo Park Street.
Benny is leading a merry chase up and down the hills. Beside the two motorcycles, there are half a dozen squad cars. But as Benny comes over the last rise, we see the road deadens at Echo Park Lake. The police have blocked off the perpendicular streets with squad cars. Eddie and Roger see the dead end fast approaching. Roger covers his eyes with his ears, and Valiant braces himself.
The brakes! The brakes!
Benny hits the brakes. Smoke pours out as they burn up and their momentum is barely broken.
Forget the brakes. Who brought the water wings?
The roadster smashes through the wooden guardrail and sails out over the water. Ker-plop! It splashes down into the lake. The police cars screech to a halt at the edge of the lake. Santino jumps out and regards the floating roadster. He turns to the other cop with a smirk. When he turns back again, the smirk disappears from his face. Angelon Lake. Benny is calmly swimming away using his fenders to do the crawl. Now they pass a spooning couple in the rowboat. The couple regard them open-mouthed. The edge of the lake. Benny nears the shoreline, touches bottom, and wades out. When they hit dry land, Benny shakes off like a dog. He revs his engine.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but I've always seemed to run better after I had a wash. Now where can I drop you kids?
As Benny roars off, we cut to an exterior alley day. Benny peers around the corner, then tiptoes into view down the alley until he steps in front of a back door. Eddie and Roger climb out.
Thanks, Benny.
If you ever need me, just stick out your thumb.
Whoosh! Benny is gone. Valiant goes to the door and unlocks it. As he and Roger head up the back stairs, we cut to the interior building close in the doorway. A hand-painted design on the rippled glass shows a knight on a white charger. On the shield in bold letters it says Veritas, and lettered around it, Valiant and Valiant Private Investigation. Valiant sticks his key in the door and unlocks it. Roger steadies the banner.
Sorry. Valiant and Valiant. Who's the other Valiant?
My brother. Get inside.
He pushes Roger into the office. Interior of the office, it's a typical detective office. A couch, a sink, a window, except for the partner's desk in the middle of the room. There's a chair on each side. Valiant closes the door and locks it.
So what's our plan? Our scenario? Our model? Abravdai.
We can't do anything until it's dark.
Valiant picks up some yellowed newspapers off of the couch and dumps them on the floor. They leave a clean spot on the couch.
Guess you haven't been in a while. Just bomb Pearl Harbor.
Roger walks over to the wall. He takes a framed picture off the wall, which shows two guys clowning around with Mickey Mouse.
Say, who's this guy laughing?
Me?
Jeez, I didn't recognize you. I've never seen you laugh before. That your brother's making the rabbits here.
What is this? 20 questions?
Valiant grabs a picture from Roger and rehangs it.
I'm going to get some sleep. I suggest you do the same.
Valiant stretches out on the couch. Roger nudges him to move over so he can lie down. Grudgingly, Valiant slides over a fraction to give Roger a tiny piece of the couch, and they lie head to foot. Close on Valiant. The problems of the day are knitting his brow. Finally, his eyes closed. After a beat, we hear Roger snoring. It's loud. Valiant's eyes pop open. He rolls over. We widen the shot to see what he sees. Above Roger's head, a Toon dream bubble has appeared. Inside the bubble is a saw, sawing back and forth through a log. It is synchronized to the sound of Roger's snore. Valiant kicks Roger, trying to stop that infernal sound. Roger sits up.
Huh?
In the dream bubble, the saw cuts through the log. One end of the log falls out of the bubble and bonks Roger on the head, knocking him unconscious. Valiant shakes his head and closes his eyes again. We pan up off his face and past the window where the sun is setting. As the camera moves along the wall, we see a gallery of framed newspaper clippings. Valiant and Valiant, Croc, Popeye kidnapping. Return Sweet Pea to the loving arms of parents. And Brothers find brothers. Heckle and Jekyll rescued from Redwood Forest. And Goofy cleared of atomic spying charges. The pan continues until we get to the window again. Now it's dark outside. Move down to Valiant's sleeping face. He stirs, then opens one eye, and they both pop at what he sees. From Valiant's point of view, Roger has a magnifying glass an inch in front of his face that distorts his grinning face hideously. Valiant, startled from his sleep, reflectively shoves Roger away from him. He flies into a swivel chair and goes spinning around.
You damn Toon, no wonder they picked you for the patsy, always going to play the fool. You make me sick.
Jeez, your smooch are a tough audience. But what happened to you that was so dark, lurid, embittering?
You want to know? Well, since you're so goddamn curious, I'll tell you. One of you Toons killed my brother.
A Toon? No.
Yeah, Toon, it was the guy who killed Bambi's mother.
Him? Oh, he's a vile, hideous, despicable, a smear of the draft board.
Yeah, everybody thought so. But me and Teddy got a kick out of the Toons. All Toons, we couldn't see the bad in them. And when this guy was accused of knocking over the First National Bank of Toontown, we took his case. But when we looked into it, we found out he did do it after all. We went to his house to take him in, but he was wise. He got the drop on us. Literally.
Safe?
Piano. Guy got away, disappeared into Toontown. Nobody ever saw him again.
Now the phone on the desk rings, and Roger makes a move to it, and we'll find out what's on the phone after a quick commercial break. So we'll take about a 5-minute break and come on right back to this scene. So I'm going to pause recording for just a sec and see you in a few minutes.
What page are we on now?
We are on page 81.
Right.
Awesome. All right, I'll be right back.
We're taking a quick commercial break.
Thank you.
I just totally forgot to offer you all a break. I forgot this was a really long script.
I know.
Stuff and something in between.
I was sitting here and I was like, it's been like it's been 3 hours, Cat.
I know. Sorry. We're almost done. One more section to go.
Oh, fuck.
You doing okay, Jackson?
Oh yeah. I've been just having a day. I was a little nervous with coming, but I think I'm doing fine. But I'm having fun now.
I'm having a blast listening to him read.
Yeah, I've been loving the when they have the double read. I think it's so funny, honestly. Like, oh, and seeing the hat come on and off and on and off. Hilarious. I feel really ashamed because this is another movie I still never watched. I've only seen clips, and I know it's a good movie. Just
It's a
never
good one.
watched it. Yeah. I'm excited. I like it though. I'm excited to learn who framed him. It's like my favorite thing is because I don't know these movies, I get to learn what the ending's like.
This one's got a nice surprise ending. I won't spoil it for you.
Perfect. I'm excited. Oh. Ooh. It's always so awkward because I thought today you were only making it like because 6:30 your time is not 6:30 my time.
No.
So I saw it and I joined at 6:30 my time, and so I waited here for an
I'm
extra
back.
hour than normal. And I
Oh
was like, oh,
no!
it's okay. It was my fault. I didn't think about it. So
Sorry,
at
I'm just
least it,
standing. I'm stretching,
no,
so
no
you can't
worries.
see me.
At least it wasn't like a couple, like, at least I'm not that far out of head. Like,
Oh,
I'm still like only an hour, so it wasn't that bad that I sat here on my phone
I'm
for
sorry.
like so
yeah.
long, and it was my fault completely. I was just like, oh my gosh.
So how are you in Canada feeling about the election?
Oh
Sorry, I
my
shouldn't bring it
gosh.
up, but
I love the election. Like, I love politics, so I was watching it strongly that night. My anxiety the entire time was high. But I made my predictions before. Like, I went through and I like chose which state was gonna get this, like, the electoral colleges and everything.
how close were you?
Oh, I was close until Iowa got red. I was like, well,
See, it's
second.
weird because Iowa was blue for a while, and
Yeah,
then I was
I
shocked.
was so
I was
shocked.
shocked, honestly.
Reading like predictions, other people's predictions, and like seeing the polling previous, like the pre-polling and like
Yep,
everything. It looked like Iowa was going to be a blue state this year, and nope. It's like,
I was shocked.
oh,
I'm a little dismayed, honestly, but
yeah. And then which other one really made me sad? Pennsylvania. When
oh
Pennsylvania
yeah,
lost,
Pennsylvania was really sad.
I
Yeah.
was like, really? That was what I was hoping for. Oh, and yeah.
Catherine, I'm sure you're just, or Kat, I'm sure you're just as devastated as I am. I'm sure.
It was funny. Um, I know
Oh man.
as a Canadian, it is definitely, we care a lot more about your guys' politics than we care about ours. And so we were all
Oh
very,
my gosh, that's so funny.
oh,
We're just waiting for Haley back.
yeah.
Let's see. Street in the scene. I'm not sure.
Henry, your Eddie is amazing.
Yes, I love it.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
I just noticed there was a newscaster.
Yes, there
I
was.
think it was supposed to be 42. Did I miss it or something?
Yeah, I think Haley picked it up for
Yeah,
you.
Haley just took it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. So when she gets
Like
back,
you took the Roadster one, for the one line, which is totally fine. I didn't care. I was actually making sure. I was double checking. Like I think that's Benny, isn't it? And then you took the line. I was like, that's fine. So I'm like, no,
Right.
it's Roadster.
Um,
no worries.
by
I
the
love
way,
Benny.
if you want an easy way, I found this out last time we did the script reading, like the last Dracula.
Uh,
You can open up notes on Zoom, and there, you could just put your lines in there. That's what I did today, week, and today is such a
mhm.
handy feature. It's so easy to read and look over. I did not
Nice.
realize that until last week.
What do you do?
So if you look down at the bottom where you have like your whole like thing where it's like participants and whatever, there should be one that says like notes. You
Oh,
click on it and it opens up this little notes thing for you, and you can put down like all your characters' names, and then I do where after the first appearance of the character, I highlight their name so I know they've already came once before. It's super nice. It's a very quick touch.
let me see. Oh, the notes.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
cool.
what I've been using. I used to use my phone app, the notes app on my phone. Then today or last week I was like, wait, why not use the feature that's in literally in this app?
Wow, I had no idea. All right, are we all ready to
Yes.
start again? Let's see if I can do it without like without destroying something here. So let's see. I'm gonna
Asking me to sign in. Ugh, I'm
I'm
not
Um,
necessarily signed in. It's all right.
next week.
back to now. The phone on the desk rings. Roger makes a move to it.
I'll get it.
Get away from there.
The phone rings 2 more times and stops.
Wrong number.
No, it's not.
Valiant goes to the phone, anticipating a ring, which comes after a moment, and Valiant picks up the receiver.
My script isn't moving. Should it be?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not moved me either.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's try that again. Ah! All right, so my screen sharing's paused. 1 sec.
Uh-oh.
I gotta figure out how to unpause it.
Hate that when that happens.
Try that. Let's see where it says Valiant picks up the receiver.
There we go. Oh.
Dolores?
Intercut to Dolores on the phone in the terminal bar.
Hoping you'd be there. I was hoping you'd be there. Maroon's called here about 4 times. He says he's got to talk to you tonight. He says he can help you.
I'll bet.
Are you going to call him, Eddie?
Whatever I got to lose. You okay, Dolores?
Yeah. They closed me down for a couple of weeks.
That'll work out just fine. When this thing is over, I'll take you to Catalina. How does that sound?
Familiar. Be careful, Eddie.
Dolores hangs up the phone. We intercut to Valiant. He clicks the switch hook and dials.
Maroon, what do you want?
Have you got the will?
Maybe. Why?
Meet me at my studio at 9 o'clock. If you got the will, maybe we can stop this thing.
Stop what?
Click. Maroon is hung up. Valiant hangs up the phone and goes to a wall safe. He spins the combination.
Gee, Eddie, you're not gonna go, are ya? Maroon be lying for ya. Maroon be lying for ya at 9 o'clock.
That's why I was there at 8:45.
I tell you what, maybe I'll better come with ya.
Oh, forget it.
Valiant reaches into the safe for a .38 revolver. He checks a cylinder, then he takes out a wooden box about 8 by 12. He closes the safe and picks up a black doctor's bag and puts the box and the revolver into it.
You know, Eddie, I'm not as much of a chump and as pasty a yokel as you think.
How much is a shave and a haircut, would you?
2 pits.
I rest my case.
Valiant goes to the door, pauses.
If I don't make it back here by 10,
Yeah.
I'll head for Cucamonga.
Valiant closes the door, leaving Roger alone. Roger paces back and forth maniacally.
Cucamonga. I don't know anybody in Cucamonga.
Exterior Maroon Studios night. The lot is deserted. And now headlights cut through the darkness as Maroon's Packard pulls up in front of the administration building. Interior car, Maroon reaches over and opens the glove compartment. He takes out a small automatic, but his hands are so slippery with perspiration, it falls to the floor. Cursing, he takes out a handkerchief, wipes his hands and his face, and picks up the gun again. As he gets out of the car, we see the clock say 8:55. Interior administration building night. Maroon hustles up to his office door. He looks nervously over his shoulder, then goes inside. Interior Maroon's office. Maroon switches on the lights. He goes to his desk. He takes out the gun and puts it in the left-hand drawer. Then he takes it out and puts it in the right-hand drawer. Then back to the original drawer. Finally satisfied, he goes to the bar to calm his obviously shattered nerves. As his shaky hand starts to pour from the decanter, another hand comes into frame.
Steady, okay. That stuff's 18 years old.
Jumps back as Valiant steps from behind the curtain, holding his black bag.
Valiant, you surprised me.
That was the idea.
Valiant takes over the pouring duties. He turns and carries Maroon's drink to him. Maroon goes and sits down in his chair. He looks to the pistol hiding place. Valiant casually sits on the desk, putting his legs over the drawer.
You're not too good at this, are you, RK?
No, I'm not. I'm a cartoon maker, not a murderer.
Well, everybody needs a hobby.
No, you've got to understand. Valiant, I had nothing to do with Acme getting killed. I just wanted to sell my studio. But they wouldn't buy my property unless Acme would sell his. And he wouldn't. So I was going to blackmail Acme with the pictures of him and the rabbit's wife.
Maroon gets up from his chair, highly agitated.
Then it all went to hell. I've been around dunes all my life. I can't sit around and watch them, see them all destroyed.
Maroon eyes Valiant's black bag.
Got the will in there, don't you?
No, I don't.
You tricked me, damn you!
Take it easy.
There's no time to take it easy. You don't realize the diabolical mind we're dealing with.
Angle on the window. A gun pokes through the open window past the. It's a Colt 45 Buntline. Unmistakable gun with an extra long barrel.
If I don't get that will by midnight tonight, Toontown's just gonna be land for the free.
Valiant sees a reflection of the gun on a movie poster on the wall. He turns, but it's too late. Bang, bang, bang. Maroon crumples, caught mid-sentence. Valiant dives behind the desk and draws his gun. He looks over at Maroon's dead body on the floor.
And the home of the brave.
Valiant crawls to the window where the shots came from. He looks out. Valiant's POV. The comely silhouette of Jessica Rabbit runs to her car, jumps in, and roars out the studio gates. Valiant grabs his black bag, climbs out of the office window, and jumps off the fire escape to the lot below. Exterior studio lot. Valiant hops into Maroon's Packard. He hits the starter button and takes off after Jessica. New angle as a car pulls away. The trunk lid lifts. Roger Rabbit peers out, disoriented, and closes it. Exterior street night. Jessica's car speeds along. Valiant is in close pursuit in the Packard. He's about to catch up on the straightaway when Jessica's car disappears into a tunnel. Valiant slams on the brakes. The Packard goes fishtailing, finally spinning to a stop at the foot of the Toontown sign. Valiant gets out of the car. He looks down the tunnel. He's sweating. He loosens his necktie. He paces back and forth at the tunnel mouth. He looks up the Toontown sign and suddenly smashes it with his fist. Spins round like a weather vane. Valiant walks to the Packard with purpose. He grabs the black bag and puts it on the hood. He opens it and takes out the wooden box. We close on the box as a clasp is popped open and the box is opened, revealing a stunning presentation model Toon 38 resting on crushed velvet. It's everything a real gun could be, and more. Each feature is exaggerated. The barrel, the cylinder, the ivory grips, all Toon-sized. Valiant picks up the gun and hefts it respectfully. Then he opens up an ammo section in the wooden box. 6 Toon 38 dum-dum bullets are in velvet creases. The Toon's bullets blink to life as if awakening from a long sleep.
Eddie, is that really you?
Uh-huh.
What year is it?
46.
Who won the war?
How do
Who do you think,
dummy?
Welcome back, Eddie.
Where you been the last 5 years?
Drunk.
He opens a cylinder.
Feeling frisky tonight, boys?
Yeah.
The bullets eagerly dive into their respective chambers. He smacks the cylinder closed, reaches into his shoulder holster, and takes out the pint bottle. He unscrews the cap and pours the rest of the booze onto the ground. When it's drained, he flings the bottle in the air and fires the Tune 38. Kapow! It makes a sound like a cannon. A Tune bullet climbs like a rocket into the dark sky. It screeches up to the bottle, puts on the brake. The bullet pulls out a jeweler's eyepiece and then whips out a little hammer and chisel and delivers one delicate tap. Valiant watches as a cut glass chandelier falls out of the sky and crashes at his feet. Valiant holsters a weapon and climbs into the Packard. He puts it into gear and oh, I lost my spot. Puts it in gear and pulls into the tunnel. In the tunnel, driving. As Valiant heads toward the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel, suddenly the cab radio comes on.
From the tippy-tip-top of Toontown's Tip-Top Club, this is Mellow Melody Matinee. Here's our favourite cricket, Jimmy, with Give a Little Whistle.
When you get in trouble and you don't know right from wrong.
Valiant turns the on-off switch, then punches all the buttons, but to no avail, the song plays on anyway.
Give a little whistle. Give a little whistle.
I hate Toontown. Oh.
As Jimmy croons on, Valiant emerges from the tunnel. Valiant's point of view. Through the windshield, we see that we have arrived in Toontown, where it's a beautiful sunny day. Eddie is now driving down a phantasmagorical boulevard in a completely animated world. It's a Mac Fleischer version of a city neighborhood. The trees and buildings are swaying in time with the music. Eddie looks left and sees a huge Aphrodite-like hood ornament on the front of a Toon car. Then as the car starts to pass him, he sees hood, 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 more hood, then a chauffeur, then more car, and finally the wolf we remember from the Ink and Paint Club. He's in top and tails, a Toon lamb in the passenger seat, and tips his hat.
Oh, woo, cousin.
Now he drives past a Toon building under construction. Like everything else in Toontown, the construction company sports the name Acme. The sign out front says, "Watch our progress." Eddie looks up, and before he can drive by, the building gets built, floor by floor, with accompanying special effects in about 2 seconds. Up ahead, the street is cleared for blocks. Then suddenly, cars pull out of all the side streets at once, clogging the boulevard like arterial sclerosis. Arterial sclerosis. And there is mad honking in this cartoon traffic jam. Eddie shakes his head. He pulls over, parks, and gets out. Valiant pulls out his Toon 38. Suddenly, the street empties in the blink of an eye. Shutters close, and the sidewalk rolls up like window shades. It's so quiet, you could hear a pin drop. In fact, a pin drops from a second-story window, landing with the clang of a manhole cover. All is quiet again. Valiant starts across the street. There is a creak behind him. Valiant whirls around, leveling his pistol at the sound. Angle on the Packard as Roger peeks out of the trunk of Maroon's car.
Don't shoot, Eddie. It's me.
Valiant lowers the gun as Roger emerges.
What the hell are you doing in there?
I followed you to the Maroon studio. When I heard those shots, I thought I helped you and investigated the inside of this trunk.
Valiant reaches into the black bag in the car. He comes out with a pair of Toon handcuffs. He slaps one on Roger's wrist.
Hey, what are you doing?
Valiant drags Roger to the steering wheel.
It's making sure you don't help me anymore.
He locks the cuff to it, then heads across the street. Around the corner, Valiant stops at a street sign. The post is bristling with fingers, pointing in different directions. Poughkeepsie, Transylvania, Walla Walla, South Pole. The finger points down, of course. And then finally a finger which says, "The Dame." Eddie follows the finger down a side street to a high-rise building. he catches a glimpse of Jessica darting into the elevators. Valiant hustles inside after her. Valiant goes to the elevators and watches the floor indicator spinning round and round, finally stopping with a bing on the 125th floor. The elevator doors open and Valiant steps on. In the elevator, Valiant punches 125. Suddenly, the elevator takes off with such velocity that Valiant is thrown to the floor. After a moment, it stops so fast that he hits the ceiling, then bounces back to the floor as the doors open. He picks himself up and steps off the elevator. He's in a foyer with 4 doors. Valiant opens the first and steps inside. He disappears. New angle. Valiant is on the outside of the building, hanging on to a flagpole for dear life. He looks down the street, which is miles below. Valiant inches away back along the flagpole to the door and pulls himself back to safety. Inside, Valiant tries the next door, this time more carefully. A speeding train is coming right at him, and he slams the door. He tries the next one. A homely old toon lady in a bathtub who lets out a blood-curdling scream. Valiant closes that door quickly and turns to the last. When he opens this one, we hear foreboding music. We see a dark alley. Warily, Valiant walks into the alley, gun drawn. There's a noise behind the garbage can. Valiant turns. The dead body with a knife in his back falls out of the shadows at Valiant's feet. A squeaky voice comes up behind Valiant.
I guess they didn't clean up after the last monitor.
Valiant whips around to see a toon rat perched on the skull, picking his teeth. Valiant kicks the skull and the rat scrambles for cover. As Valiant continues on, we see Jessica Rabbit, who steps out of the shadows behind him and aims a gun at his back.
Don't move, Valiant.
Valiant turns slowly to see Jessica's got a bead on him with her revolver.
Well, I always figured I'd get it in Toontown.
Blam! She fires. But Valiant's still standing. We hear a crash behind Eddie as a figure falls into some boxes from a fire escape above.
I think I got him.
Valiant runs past Valiant to the figure. He follows, bewildered. Angle on the ground, we see 2 rabbit ears sticking out from behind a box.
You shot Roger.
That's not Roger. It's one of Doom's men. He killed R.K. Maroon.
Jessica moves the box aside and tugs on the rabbit's ears. The rabbit head pops off. Underneath is a weasel. In his hand is a Colt 45 buttline.
Lady, I guess I had you pegged all wrong.
Don't worry, you're not the first. We better get out of here.
Yeah.
As they run down the alley, we cut to the next narrator, which would be Aubrey, I believe.
Okay, there's a sure if you're on narrator or not. The Packard, Roger, is behind the wheel making engine noises like a little kid. He pushes all the buttons, windshield wipers, convertible top, etc., until he accidentally hits the starter button. Boom! The Packard fires to life. Roger's startled for a moment, but quickly regains his composure.
What would be the harm if I took her for a spin?
He throws it into gear. The Packard bucks into the car. What? The Packard bucks into the car in front of it. Then Roger shifts again. The same process is repeated in reverse. He smashes back and forth. Bang! Bang!
The open road!
Around the corner, Eddie and Jessica come racing down the street.
It was Doom who killed Acme, you know.
Why didn't you tell me?
I didn't know who I could trust.
We're even. By the way, I did find your husband.
Oh, where is he?
He's right here in the...
Valiant rounds the corner and points toward the spot where the car used to be, but all that remains is a crumpled bumper.
car.
He shakes his head as he looks around for signs of Roger. Intercut 2. The Packard is careening down the Toon streets totally out of control. Panicked, Roger is spinning the wheel as if it were a motorboat. He drives in one side of Mother Goose's shoe and out the other. Disappears Out the other, diapers all over the windshield. Unable to see, Roger steers right off the road. The car hurtles through space. As it starts to fall, we see its tune, Monument Valley. The Packard passes a promontory on which Wile E. Coyote is perched. As Roger passes, he waves to the coyote.
Hey, Roger Rabbit, love your work.
Intercut to Eddie and Jessica, who are now facing a squad of 10 Tune Control Weasels. They unleash a fusillade of bullets. Valiant knocks Jessica to the ground. The bullets pass harmlessly overhead, going into the window of Acme Cheese Shop, riddling a round of cheese. The cheesemaker's hand comes into frame, changing the sign that says Gouda to Swiss. Valiant rolls and fires his Tune 38 special. The Tune bullet turns into a cannonball, which rolls down the street, busting up the Weasel squad like a bowling ball through 10 pins. As Eddie pulls Jessica to her feet, 2 more Weasels descend on them. They fling Tune knives, which pin Eddie to a wooden fence. Valiant rips one hand free and blasts 2 shots at them. The Tune bullets get to the Weasels and open their nose cones. 2 flying pans emerge and bonk the Weasels on the head. Jessica starts to pull the knives out, releasing Eddie.
How did you get onto Doom?
Marvin told me. Doom was after his land. They was afraid. That's why he brought me to his will.
Valiant sees a Weasel skulking at them with the Tommy gun. Blam! Valiant fires at him. The Weasel ducks back around the corner, but Valiant's dum-dum screeches to a stop and goes around the corner. On the corner, too. We hear an explosion. The Weasel comes staggering out and falls in the street.
So, where is it?
When I opened the blue envelope, all that was inside was a blank piece of paper.
A joker to the end.
Now Weasels are coming at them from every direction. Valiant aims the Tune 38 at a Tune tank rolling their way, but when he pulls the trigger, the gun just clicks, empty.
Looks like our goose is cooked. Our hash is slung. Our fate is accomplished.
Let me guess where you got that from. Tell me something. What do you ever see in that guy, anyway?
He made me laugh.
Valiant shakes his head. Now they are completely surrounded by Weasels. The situation looks bleak.
Well, do you prefer to die this way or that way?
Valiant jerks his thumb, indicating the direction behind him. Suddenly there's a rubber brain screech as Benny, the roadster, arrives next to Valiant's hitchhiker posed thumb. Need a lift? Valiant does a take.
Benny!
The roadster looks back approvingly as Jessica climbs in with Eddie. Mr. Valiant, you made a vast improvement in the company you keep. Benny blasts through a couple of Weasels. They swing back and forth like tavern doors and topple. He takes a hard right into the next block, which is the Tune Arctic. His tire turns into skis. He slaloms back and forth between trees. The Weasels pursue on dog sled. Benny grabs a striped barber's pole, the North Pole, and slides down it. They land in the Tune Sahara. Benny crawls up a large sand dune, his tongue hanging out of his radiator. He glances back at the Weasels, who are mounted on camels, waving scimitars. When they reach the top of the sand dune, we see they're on the precipice of a bottomless chasm. Look, the drawbridge. We're gonna make it.
I don't see any bridge.
That's because you gotta draw it first. Benny takes a pencil hanging from a post lettered drawbridge. He wets the pencil point and in a flash draws a bridge. It's a rickety rope bridge. Using the pencil as a balancing pole, Benny starts to tiptoe across. The Weasels jump off their camels and start filing onto the bridge after them. Excuse me. When Benny finally reaches the other side, Valiant grabs the pencil from him and gets out of the car.
Hold on a second.
Eddie, come on.
But Valiant stands facing the Weasels, who are charging at him, swords raised. With a sly smile, Valiant holds up the eraser end of the pencil, then freezes This freezes the weasels. But as Valiant starts to erase the rope support, the eraser breaks off the pencil and falls down to the chasm. The weasels wheeze with relief and advance for the kill. At the last second, Valiant takes the business end of the pencil and scribbles a handsaw. He grabs it by the handle and saws the rope. The bridge swings away, smacking the weasels into the opposite canyon wall. One by one, they slide off and disappear into the chasm, or into the abyss. Valiant climbs back into Benny. The roadster takes off again, making a skidding left to turn onto the main drag as they make their break into Toontown Tunnel. Exit Toontown Tunnel, LA side, night. A 10-gallon drum is sitting by the side of the road under the Toontown sign. From in the tunnel, we hear the sound of Benny's engine coming closer. Now a foot comes out of the shadow and rests on the 10-gallon drum. As the sound of the roadster gets very loud, the foot kicks the drum over spilling a clear liquid across the road. New angle, the foot. Belongs to Judge Doom. Doom smiles sadistically as the roadster, with Eddie and Jessica aboard, comes shooting out the tunnel. When Benny hits the liquid, he starts to skid. Oh, whoa, look out! His tires smoke, then disappear. It's a dip slick. Without tires, Benny spins out of control, finally ending up in the bushes roadside. Before Eddie and Jessica can make a move, they are surrounded by a horde of weasels pointing what looks like 100 guns at them. Are you two all right? Doom opens one of the roadster's door and helps Jessica out. Valiant climbs out after her. The weasels quickly relieve him of his tune pistol. These roads can be very treacherous at night, especially in a maniacal tune vehicle.
The pot's calling, the kettle maniacal.
I've had enough of your insolence. Put him in my car. I think they'll enjoy attending our ribbon cutting at the Acme factory. The weasels prod Valiant and Jessica into Doom's Lincoln. A weasel refers to Benny whimpering in the bushes. What about him? He's not going anywhere. We'll send the mobile unit after him. Doom climbs into the car and it zooms off. Weasels jumping into the running boards. Benny crawls out of the bushes on his axles. The boinin. What's the boinin? He makes it down to the drainage ditch, dipping his tootsies one by one. There's a hiss as they hit the water, and the chemicals from the dip are extinguished. Ah, yeah, that's better. Now, Benny hears the sound of another vehicle coming out of the Toontown tunnel. He ducks down and peeks over the ditch to see Roger in the Packard come screaming out of the tunnel backwards. Maroon's Packard looks like the winner of a demolition derby. Benny stands and waves to him. Roger! Roger sees him and slams on the brakes, skidding as the Packard into the Toontown sign.
Ah, Benny!
Benny hobbles over to the Packard. He pops his trunk and rummages around. He comes out with Toon bolt cutters. He clips Roger's cuffs off. Doom's got your wife and Valiant. He took them to the Acme factory.
Let's go!
Benny nudges Roger to the passenger side. Slide over, son. It looks like you've done enough driving for tonight. Now the Toon Roadster gingerly gets behind the wheel of the Packard. He hits the gas and the Packard lurches down the road. Interior, Acme factory, night. Doom's car is parked inside. There are several other vehicles as well. There's a steamroller, a road grader, and a huge modified tanker truck. It's mounted with a 1,000-gallon vat, the contents of which are being stirred by a motorized unit. All the vehicles are marked with a large green four-leaf clover logo. Valiant and Jessica are held at gunpoint by a couple of weasels, while several others are busy jackhammering the brick wall at the far end of the factory. Doom pulls on his rubber gloves and turns to the weasels. Frisk them. See if they have the will. Several weasels rush for the opportunity to frisk Jessica. The head weasel slaps the others away, then wheezing oh my gosh, why can't I say the word? Oh my gosh.
I can't say this word apparently.
Lasciviously.
Thank you, lasciviously. He turns to the task. He starts to move his hands over her body when Jessica stomps her heel on his feet.
Get your rodent hands off me, you little rodent!
The weasel hops away angrily and quickly frisks Valiant. He turns to Doom and shakes his head. No matter. I don't expect the will to show up in the next 15 minutes. By then, Cloverleaf will own Toontown quite legally.
So you're Cloverleaf.
No one person is Cloverleaf. We're a vast company with diverse interests. Gasoline, tires, automobiles. At the brick wall, the jackhammering has stopped. A weasel plucks one brick out of the wall. Toon light beams through. He reaches into the hole in the wall and comes out holding a bunch of Toon bananas. Wheezing wickedly, he passes them out to his compatriots. They devour the bananas, throwing the peels helter-skelter. Valiant turns his attention from the brick wall back to Doom.
Come on, Doom. What would a company like that want with Toontown?
It wasn't Toontown they wanted. It was my idea of how to put the land to better use.
Ah,
Doom goes to the truck and starts turning on valves and starting compressors. Doom, in fact, they're starting compressors. In fact, they thought my concept was brilliant. That they offered me a directorship of transportation. I've accepted. Bring me Mr. Valiant's gun. The weasels trot over and delivers Valiant's Toon 38. Doom inspects it. He reads the engraving on the frame. Thanks for getting me out of the Hooskow, Yosemite Sam. How sweet. Doom throws the gun on the ground. He pushes back a long lever on the truck, letting loose a tiny spurt of fluid from the discharge valve. The gun disappears.
Dip?
That's right! Enough to dip Toontown off the face of the earth! Exterior Acme Factory, Roger and Benny. Having been watching the proceedings through a window, they turn to each other stunned. Dip Toontown?
We gotta do something.
Roger scurries to the Packard hidden outside the gates. He opens Valiant's black bag and comes out holding Eddie's real pistol. Benny comes tenderfooting up. Roger, what are you going to do with that gun?
I'm gonna save them. Of course. You go for help. Find Dolores at the terminal bar. She knows what to do.
Oh, well, all right. Reluctantly, Benny gets behind the wheel of the Packard. But you be careful now with that gun. This ain't no cartoon. Benny pulls away. Roger turns with determination and zips back to the window. Interior factory. Doom pulls the tarp off the top of the truck, revealing a modified water cannon.
You're sick, Doom. Where do people like you come from?
Never mind where I come from. Just watch where I'm going.
don't you think anyone's going to notice that Toontown's gone?
They won't care. Who's going to miss some ridiculous talking mice when they have the future? Exterior, back at the factory, Roger. He's trying to jimmy open a window using his whole body for leverage. Finally pops the window open. Gun drawn, he climbs over the sill and falls headfirst. Interior bathroom. Roger splashes into the toilet bowl at the Acme washroom. He bobs up. He drains the water out of the pistol barrel and peeks over the bowl. He gets a determined look in his eye.
It's time to make my move.
Roger starts to climb out of the toilet. He reaches for something to grab onto. Unwittingly, he gets the toilet chain hanging from the tank above. As he pulls himself out, the toilet flushes. Roger only has a moment to register a dumbfounded expression before he is sucked down the john. In the factory room,
Doom continues expansively. Right here where we're standing will be the cornerstone of my idea. The cloverleaf, an elegant cement structure that intertwines freeways.
What the hell's a freeway?
A freeway, Mr. Valiant, is 8 lanes of asphalt running uninterrupted from LA to Pasadena, Pasadena to Hollywood, Hollywood to Santa Monica. Someday everyone will be in cars driving happily non-stop from one end of the LA basin to another.
That's what this is all about. Tell me, who's going to use your lousy freeway? We got the red cars, the best public transportation in the country.
Not for long. We're retiring the red cars. People will be driving, Mr. Valiant, because they'll have to. And when they drive, they'll have to buy our cars, our tires, our gasoline.
Why'd you bother calling it a freeway?
Doom steps up to their faces. Behind them, several weasels are fashioning a noose. Has a nice ring. Too bad you two won't be around to enjoy it. Suddenly, Roger explodes out of the drainage grate in the floor. His entrance sends the weasels flying. Roger lands on his feet. James Cagney-like, leveling his gun on Judge Doom.
Get him up, all of you, or I'll let the judge have it.
Roger, darling.
Yes, it's me, my dearest. I'd embrace you, but first I have to take care of some unfinished business.
Put that gun down, you buck-toothed fool!
Go ahead. Give me an excuse to fill you full of holes. Pump you full of lead. How'd I doing, Eddie?
Oh, real good, Rog. But maybe you better let me take over.
Not before I satisfy my senses of moral outrage.
Milking the moment, he shifts the gun from one hand to another. He circles Doom, poking and prodding him with the gun.
You think you could just get away with this? We Toons may be idiotic, but we are not stupid.
POV overhead. We look down on the proceedings from high in the rafters. Pull back to reveal. We're watching from the POV of Voltaire, who's perched on the top inventory rack. Voltaire cleans his fingernails casually.
Yes, justice, Judge Doom. The real making of the word probably hits you like a ton of bricks.
Voltaire calmly nudges an Acme ton of bricks off the shelf. Close, Roger. He never sees it coming. Smash! The bricks land on his head and bury him. The only thing we see of Roger is his hand with the gun in it. Well, this is turning out better than I thought. Doom picks the gun up. The weasels drag Roger out from under the bricks. Big, bright stars are circling his head.
Look, stars! Ready when you are, Roll.
Valiant shakes his head, but Jessica starts to laugh.
I've missed you, Roger.
Tie the lovebirds together. The weasels twirl tune rope around Roger and Jessica like a cocoon. They hook them to a power winch, then hit a bottom and raise Roger and Jessica until they're suspended 15 feet above the floor, right in the path of the dipmobile. Doom hands Valiant's gun to the head weasel. Let him watch his Toon friends get dipped. Then shoot him. Doom turns and starts to walk away. Angle on ground. He steps on a Toon banana peel and goes flat on his keister. The weasels, always quick with a laugh, break up at their boss's misfortune. The one guarding Eddie is so overcome with laughter that he is slapping his thigh with his gun hand. Valiant sees his opportunity. He starts to make a move toward the distracted weasel and almost gets his hand on the gun when... Watch out, you idiot! He's going for the gun! The weasel turns at the last second, sticking the barrel up against Valiant's nose. Doom gets to his feet. He glowers at the weasel and knocks him on the head with the gavel head of his cane. Doom stalks out of the room. The weasels scramble to positions on the dipmobile. One fires up the engine. The street cleaner brushes start to turn. The vehicle starts to creep forward. Another weasel climbs into the turret. He puts Roger and Jessica in the crosshairs of the cannon. Beads of sweat break out on Valiant's face. The weasel, wheezing with evil glee, starts to press his finger to the trigger.
You guys think this is real funny, don't ya? Eddie, do something.
At the last second, Eddie shouts to the weasel.
Hey,
The weasel turns to him.
before you pull the trigger, I want you to know something about the guy you're about to dip.
Suddenly, Eddie breaks into the Looney Tunes song, the song Roger had sung in the bar. The silly voice that comes out of his mouth surprises everybody, especially Roger.
His name is Roger Rabbit. He's got a crazy habit.
Valiant starts skulking across the floor. It's a cross between Groucho Marx and a Chuck Berry duck walk.
He likes to sing and dance and yuck to brighten up and smile, you schmuck.
Valiant starts hoo-hooing, slapping himself at the floor. Now the weasel starts giggling. They've never seen a human do this before.
Now, my name's Eddie V. I'm loony too, you'll see.
Valiant flips into a handstand and starts walking on his hands.
I walk with my hands and I shake with my feet.
He offers his foot to a weasel who shakes it. The others howl. Eddie flips upright and grabs the stick of Acme Dynamite.
I think dynamite is swell to eat.
Eddie takes a bite out of the tuned dynamite and acts like he's savoring it. The spectacle of this human doing this is all too much to bear. Now the weasels are rolling on the ground, holding their sides.
Lost his mind.
Yeah, isn't it great? Keep it up, Eddie. You're killing him. You slaying him. You're knocking him dead.
Roger means it. The weasels are laughing so hard. They're giving themselves heart attacks. Valiant spits on the ground. Valiant spins around on the floor like a clock dial gone berserk.
Hoo, 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 hoo.
One by one, the weasels kill over. Opaque weasel spirits leave their bodies with wings and harps and flow heavenward, still laughing. Voltaire, alarmed at the scene below, grabs a brick and flaps toward the ceiling. He throws the brick through the skylight and flies out.
Doom.
Sorry.
Doom.
Didn't mean to do that. On the dipmobile, the weasel on the turret collapses onto the trigger. The unmanned dip cannon starts spraying it as the arm sweeps slowly back and forth like an automatic lawn sprinkler. Valiant hitches a ride. Valiant hitches a ride to the last ascending weasel spirit, letting it hoist him to the top of the truck. As he moves the weasel body off the trigger, Voltaire crashes back through the skylight and swoops down on Eddie. He sinks his talons into Eddie's back and lifts him into the air. As Valiant is being pulled skyward, he reaches for something along the wall of inventory. He grabs a handful of Acme small pills and jams a couple of them down the buzzard's mouth. Instantly, Voltaire starts to shrink. As he gets smaller, he can no longer hold Eddie up. The boat descends as Voltaire shrinks into the size of a chick. A sprayer is swinging back towards Roger and Jessica. At the last second, Valiant reaches up and blocks it. It swings back the other way. As Valiant scrambles up the vehicle to turn it off, Voltaire has found a box of Acme Big pills. He pecks into it, and after a beat explodes out of the box. He is now 3 times the size he was before. Voltaire flaps in for the kill. Valiant reaches the turret just in time to swing the cannon around. The spray of dip blasts one of Voltaire's wings off. He spins earthward like a flaming Messerschmitt, finally landing in the dip vat and dissolving into a black pool. Doom arrives just in time to see his pet bird dissolved. Angrily, he steps into a giant Acme mousetrap. He uses a piece of Acme cheese to spring it, catapulting him through the air. Just as Valiant is about to turn off the dip cannon, Doom lands on the truck. He knocks Eddie off the turret with the flying tackle. They both hit the floor. Doom gets up, leaving Eddie stunned. He sprints to where the weasel had dropped Eddie's pistol. Finally, Eddie shakes it off. He sees Doom about to reach the gun. He straps on a pair of Acme Rocket skates, fires them up, and shoots across the floor. He knocks Doom into a stack of Acme boxes, toppling the whole shelf down on top of him. As the sprayer swings back towards Roger and Jessica, they have their last moment together.
Roger, I want you to know that I love you. I love you more than any woman has ever loved a rabbit.
Be comfortable in knowledge that as we face the grim Dipper, our paint will become lead for eternity.
They both close their eyes, waiting for the end, but it never comes. The truck runs up on some boxes, and the sprayer arm swings back the other way. Doom grabs an Acme slingshot, loads an Acme boulder, and fires it at Valiant. Blam! It whacks Valiant on the head, laying him out cold in front of the clover leaf steamroller. Doom climbs into the steamroller and starts it up. He puts it into gear and starts rolling it towards Valiant. Valiant comes around to see a huge roller bearing down on him. At the last second, Valiant rolls out of the way and grabs some Acme boxing glove. It accordions out and smashes Doom in the face. He goes flying out of his driver's seat, turning the wheel as he falls. The steamroller starts to turn in circles. Valiant jumps Doom, but Doom is stronger. He throws Valiant off and starts whacking him with his fist. He pummels Valiant backwards toward the drum of the steamroller. Valiant grabs the nearest thing for defense. It's a can of Acme Stay Put adhesive. He whips it up in front of his face. Doom puts his fist right through it, covering his hand with glue. He smiles at Valiant and hauls off again. Valiant ducks. Doom's fist stripes the top of the drum of the steamroller. Frantically tries to pull it off, but it stays put. The roller starts to suck his fist down and under. No! Jessica and Roger avert their eyes as the steamroller crushes Doom. Valiant breathes a sigh of relief. He starts for the dip truck as the cannon swings back towards Roger and Jessica, but neither of them are watching the cannon. Their eyes are fixed on the ground behind the steamroller. Angle on the ground. There isn't a messy pile of blood and guts you'd expect to see if a human got run over. Instead, we see that Judge Doom's remains have rolled out flat, like a black pancake. Flat pancake. After a beat, the edge curls up with a creak. Now the whole shape peels off the floor and wobbles to its feet, revealing Doom is a toon.
Eddie, look out!
Valiant turns to see Doom stick his flattened thumb in his mouth. He blows, re-inflating himself. His glasses crack and fall off, then his prosthetic eyeballs pop out. His teeth shatter and fall out of his mouth like china. Underneath his latex mask, we can see his toon mouth and evil red toon eyes.
Holy shit, he's a toon.
Surprised?
Not really. Only a toon could think of something as goofy as that freeway idea.
Doom takes the black rubber gloves off, revealing red hands with long fingernails. He makes a fist into an anvil and advances on Valiant. Is that so? Well, we'll see who's the goofy one. Blam! From 10 feet away, he smashes Valiant with a bone-crunching punch. Valiant staggers backwards. By the way, when I killed your brother Teddy, I used to talk just like this! Doom speaks in a toony high-pitched squeak. Valiant recognizes it now.
You?
That's right! Me! Blam! Doom hammers Valiant. I apologize for everybody that is listening. Doom hammers Valiant again. He's defenseless against Doom's superhuman strength. Blam! Valiant goes sprawling to the ground. Now Doom's hand turns into a buzzsaw. He goes to administer the coup de grace. Now Somebody's gonna be Denny! Just like Denny! With his last ounce of strength, Valiant grabs the Acme boxing glove. He pops it. The glove extends across the room, punching the release lever on the dip truck. Close valve. A flood of dip gushes out the valve and rolls towards Doom like a wave. Doom screams, "Yeah!" as the torrent hits him with a crash. But there's no escape for him this time. The flood of liquid envelops him at the ankles. He dissolves into it like a melting candle. I'm melting! The dipmobile continues forward inexorably. I did not pronounce that right. Inexorably. There we go. The arm is swinging towards Roger and Jessica. It gets closer and closer. Valiant tries to get to the truck, but it's too late. The cannon has reached them. Close, Roger and Jessica. They close their eyes, preparing to meet their maker, but nothing happens. The spray of the cannon suddenly peters out. It dries up in a harmless drip as the tank has completely emptied. Valiant gets to the controls of the power winch. He hoists Roger and Jessica up out of the way. The dipmobile passes harmlessly underneath them and smashes through the brick wall. Toontown is revealed in all its splendor. It's a bucolic setting. A rainbow shares the blue sky with the smiling sun. Fawns and butterflies, chipmunks and flowers watch curiously as the dip truck rolls past. Suddenly it's lifted off the ground. We see it's resting on the top of a Toon's giant head. This giant picks the truck off his head, regards it, and plops it in his mouth. Valiant lowers Roger and Jessica to the ground. We hear police sirens approach. Then Valiant unties them. Jessica turns and exclaims,
My hero.
Then she hugs Roger passionately. Valiant can only shrug. Through the wall, Toons start coming in. They look around at the scene, bewildered, then gather around Doom's robe, mask, and shoes lying in a puddle of dip. There's a reddish slick floating on top. Valiant wanders over and joins them. Valiant.
Is that Valiant?
Yes. Hi ho.
Phew. Hi-ho.
Hi ho, the Doom is dead.
Angle on door. Dolores, Lieutenant Santino, and several other cops rush in, guns drawn. Dolores runs to Eddie and puts her arms around him. Santino looks down at the remains on the floor.
What the hell is that?
Doom!
Jesus Christ. That was the judge?
Valiant takes the paint chip out of his pocket. He puts it up against the red slime on the robe. It's a match.
That was the murderer of Herman, Acme, Maroon, and my brother.
Dolores looks down at the front of Valiant's shirt. A dark stain is appearing.
Eddie, we better get you to the hospital. You're bleeding.
Valiant looks down at the stain.
That's not blood. That's ink. That goof Acme squirted me with some the other day. Why, it's coming through now. I don't know.
That's because it's disappearing, reappearing ink. Shows up 3 days later, gives you
Ugh.
enough time to get away from the victim so he doesn't punch you in the nose. Get gap?
Yeah.
I'll treat you to a new shirt. After all, you did save Toontown. Problem is, without Marvin's will, the land still goes to Cloverleaf.
That's right. If only we knew what happened to that whale.
Valiant looks up from his shirt.
Say, Roger, remember that love letter you wrote your wife at the Ink and Paint Club?
Yeah,
I think you ought to read it to her.
good idea.
Reaches into his pocket, pulls out the paper, and clears his throat.
Dear Jessie, how do I love thee? Let me count I, Marvin Alkine, of sound mind and body. Hey,
Close paper. The disappearing, reappearing ink is coming up over Roger's scribbling.
Keep reading.
hey, it's the will. I, Marvin Alkine, of the sound mind and body Ho 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 ho. Do hereby bequeath in perpetuity the property known as Toontown to the lovable characters.
And the Toon crowd who are listening to the reading of the will. It is a gallery of recognizable faces, everyone from Mickey to Bugs, Yacky Doodle to Yosemite Sam, Dumbo to Dopey, Bambi to Droopy, Tweety Bird to Tinkerbell. They're all here.
We have all given me the who have all given me the rest of humanity to so much mirth and mercilment. The Toons.
The Toon crowd erupts with a cheer, hats go up in the air, and they descend on Roger, slapping his back. Roger breaks away from the crowd and joins Eddie. Two-shot, Eddie and Roger. They stand side by side looking out over Toontown.
Well, Eddie, you still think I'm pasty, a simp, a chump?
Eddie wipes the spit off his face.
No, kid, you're a real hero.
I guess I am at that, cigar.
Roger holds out a large stoogie.
Why not?
Roger lights Eddie's and one for himself.
By the way, Roger, you were right about your wife. She's a good lady. I'm glad you got her back.
And I am glad your sense of humor's back. That you keep it. Think you'll keep it?
Only time will tell.
Valiant puffs on the cigar.
That's a pretty good cigar. Where'd you get it?
From the box here?
Valiant glances down.
Oh.
The box says Acme Exploding Cigars. He looks to Roger, but it's too late. Kaboom! Kaboom! Their cigars blow
Whoa,
up in
oh.
classic Toon tradition, blackening both their faces. Roger starts laughing. Eddie stares at Roger for a moment. Then he starts laughing too. They throw their heads back in a howl. The other Toons join in. Pretty soon, the whole factory is shaking with laughter. A Toon cop dressed in a blue uniform and hat with his back to us tries to restore order to the Acme factory. As soon as he talks, we recognize the stutter. It's Porky Pig.
Oh, move along. There's nothing else to see. That's it. That's it, old folks. I like the sound of that.
Then, savoring the phrase, Porky stutters out the famous sign-off.
Ambada. That's it. That's all, folks.
Cartoon music up.
And thank you all. That was a long reading. Thanks for sticking off.
Oh my.
It was
Yeah.
exhausting.
We just could not have another part two. We have two scripts for part
too
two.
many. Two, and then we also have Never Ending Story.
That'll be in January.
Oh.
Yeah, we still have the second half of Interview with Vampire to finish up. I didn't want to
And
have
Dracula.
second half of Dracula to finish up. Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
So, yes,
Oh.
it was having
I
so
can't
much
wait to reprise Lestat.
Oh. I can't wait to hopefully have these two amazing people.
I know. I can't wait. I hope you guys will join us for the second part of Interview with Vampire and Dracula. It'll be so much fun.
Oh.
What a odd
It won't
party.
be quite so long because it's only half a script.
Yes.
Yeah, that was still fun. It was long, but it was very.
Oh,
Yeah.
Delightful.
There
guys
were
are
definitely some
amazing.
differences I did see in this versus the movie, but I think a lot of them were improvs that I've noticed.
I remember I watched like the popular clips before doing this one,
Mhm.
and Roger says a lot more things where he's like, when the whisk or like gets Roger to drink the thing, he's like, no, 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 no. Like Roger actually like tries to say no in the movie, at least from what I saw. He never says no in this. He basically just goes with it. Same with the whole car scene or whatever. I think in the movie Roger is like, give me the wheel or something. But I don't remember that in this one, so
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, give me the wheel. You take the wheel. No, you. I think I remember that. Yeah.
yeah, which that wasn't in this one, I don't think. But
No, and also they with the part with Benny, the whole thing with explaining Jessica Rabbit explaining like Maroon, the whole Maroon thing, they're in the car with Benny.
Oh yeah. Like it's not the way that I don't remember what it was read like, but I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah, it's not that way. They also did not include the whole part with there is a longer sequence in Toontown that they also do with the fake Jessica Rabbit. And then he goes through the door and you have Droopy. It's like going up, sir, going down, sir. They didn't have that. They didn't have Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny sit there and do dialogue. There was a lot that was actually missing. But the big beats were there, so that was great. It was just a lot of the stuff that they ended up improving.
Yeah, no, it was super fun.
Online movie script, yeah, but totally now that you're mentioning all that, I'm like, yeah, that wasn't there. It's hard to find them. I don't know. I really want to do Death to Smoochie, and I found a really good one. If we ever want to put that on there, I know that's weird play, but it's so funny. I rewatched it recently, and I was like, it's so good. It's got like Roger Williams and stuff.
What was the name of it?
Death to
Roger Williams?
Roger Williams, Robin Williams. Oh my God, Haley, that was a long read.
That's okay. It's a long. I don't know.
Oh.
I forget where you're at, Haley.
Yeah, I'm in Texas, so it's midnight, right? At 12:20. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured it was a lot later
It's
for
11.
you.
It's 11:20 for me.
I mean, it's 10:20 for me, so it's I'm in California, so
And I'm like, but
I was the one who was
Where are
yawning.
you in California?
I know. It's okay though. When I get the yawns, I'm fucked. I'm always just like gonna be yawning.
I'm like, oh my gosh, no, stop yawning. Ah.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how my
Aubrey,
doom.
where are you in California?
So this is fun, huh?
I think they're all West Coast.
Where are you in California?
I'm in California. Where are
Aubrey?
you? You're also in California, aren't you? Pasadena, I think,
I'm in
right?
LA, yes. Where are you?
Where
I'm
you-
in Venice. Venice.
Oh,
Where are
I'm
you?
in northern LA. I'm near the Bay Area. Like I'm just right outside the Bay Area. I do a lot of film up here though, so I did a lot of acting. Done a lot of like professional acting stuff. Like I've been in short films and such. Nothing really big. It's all indie, but yeah. So
Such a sweet.
yeah, it's fun.
That sounds fun. I want to get into that. I think I
Come
gotta
to,
be.
come to California.
Yeah, I know. I really think
Come to
I
California.
All
Well-
you Americans, I tell.
We have-
Ay,
was in
ay.
Austin.
Oh.
Yeah, Austin's probably the one
Well,
place.
a lot of times, right? But it's not as good as in my mind. Come to Cali. I'd rather come to Cali.
Hey, me and you, Haley, are pretty much in the same place.
Yeah.
Alberta is known as the Texas of Canada,
Oh
so
no, wait! I've actually heard that. That's
Crazy.
It lives
In a
up to
bad
its
way?
name. I think in multiple ways.
I would say that you're right now, Canada's probably the better place to be at the moment.
I know. Like all of us want to move there now, Jackson. We're like,
I know. I know. I know. I was watching everything.
We should go into
Unfold.
politics online, but yeah,
Yeah.
just saying, like that's just something like we'll probably go end up moving there. Who knows?
Yeah.
I really
I'm
might.
wa-
I'm like,
I'm watching my Destiny get back into a really
But
abusive
Haley, if you ever
relationship.
need to come to California, just let me know.
yeah, Aubrey. I'm gonna add you on
Oh.
Facebook. For
Yes,
sure.
please do. You are
Oh.
On Facebook. It's silly. Are we still on mute?
yes,
I don't know if
Yes.
we're still on YouTube. Anyways, for all those who are watching, that's why I was like, we
Yes.
should be careful about what we say.
Yeah.
I said the
Yeah.
F.
Yeah.
To talk about the film a bit, yeah, it's a real fun film. They haven't done anything really like this again. I guess the
No.
closest one they've done is Cool World, but I don't think it was done to the same level as this. Cool World is like so much darker too. It's such a darker film.
I feel like I got the Space Jam little like pocket. I was born in '91. We got Space Jam.
Oh, that's true. Space Jam. They did that is true. They did that, but I don't think it was to that quite that same level though.
I-
For
But it ended up good. It ended up really, really good.
oh yeah, it's great.
Oh,
I was
But-
Space Jam era too, so don't worry. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not that much older than you, so
Your generation before, yeah. But like, because I just can vibe that. Sorry. But the second one with LeBron, nah.
No, it's all about Michael Jordan.
Yeah, right. It was all like the
Um,
movie was all about Michael Jordan
Bill
being
and Bill
I
Murray
I
being
love the
amazing.
twist
married
ending
to Dan Aykroyd. I didn't know
in this
Dan Aykroyd
play.
was in this picture. Like,
Yeah, so funny.
yes, that's
Anyways, we're not talking about Roger Rabbit, but I mean, just the level and the of like absolutely how much like detail went into this film. Like, if you've ever seen the making of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's amazing. Also, the original script they intended for this was so much darker, and the book is so much darker. So this is actually adapted from a book,
Well, that's
which
right.
is
Oh, really?
yeah, it's who erased Roger Rabbit. It's something like that.
Oh,
It's not who shot Roger Rabbit. It's let me
I
take a quick
enjoyed the
look.
twist ending with Doom being the
It's a
villain.
really different.
It was interesting. I don't think we've ever done a movie. No, that's a lie. I've watched one movie out of every movie we've done that I've
Which
read
one?
for, Avengers. I have not watched any other movie we've read, and it's been the most
Censored.
interesting thing reading Oldham and finding out these endings. It's like, ooh, that's shocking. But
The
Looks
Roger Rabbit.
um,
Who censored Roger Rabbit?
It's who censored Roger Rabbit. That's what it was. And the whole thing was about them having the text bubble. They originally had text bubbles. Really interesting.
hmm,
Yeah, it's originally from Gary K. Wolfe, 1981, Who Censored Roger Rabbit. Yep.
oh my gosh, I just realized.
and apparently he dies.
Yeah, he dies. Jessica Rabbit was not like a loving wife, loving a loving,
Oh,
partner. She's
yeah,
like vain and cruel and like just vapid. And yeah,
like we're like, yeah, that makes, I don't know. Like just yeah, that's pretty dark. It made me
it's very dark. Yeah, she's like in the, yeah, it's kind of,
have idea.
it's, yeah, it's not a good, it's not, I mean, it's not like it's a bad story, obviously, but it's just not like
PC
the
kind of
same.
like right like I don't know, they made it more fun and did like of course she's like an icon from it, Jessica Rabbit, but I bet the OG is like, oh, she's just another one of them bitches with the beauty, you know.
Yeah, it's I think it's Catherine O'Hara does her voice, and funny, I think it's Kathleen O'Hara. Um, it might be there, I just got it. Yeah, sorry, Kathleen Turner. Kathleen Turner was the voice,
I
and
love her.
then Amy Irving was the voice, her singing voice. So that's interesting. There's something I was thinking it's Kathleen, or I was thinking it was the same person who did Sally, but from Nightmare Before Christmas, but it's not. That's Kathleen O'Hara. Pretty certain.
Out with that fact. I'm like, yeah, the woman from Beetlejuice and Schitt's Creek, Sally. And they're like, whoa. And then
Yeah, yeah. She also plays one of the girl trick-or-treater. Funny
yeah,
enough.
yes, we did a reading and it was such a fail. It was when people couldn't figure out that Zoom doesn't really like go with tracks, right? But it was during
Right.
COVID and a group Henry and I were in. We tried to do uh yeah, A Nightmare Before Christmas, and our friend Val, who was the like leader of that group or like started it, she like always says like that's the worst thing we've ever done. She like just hated it when she was like, I'll just like actually.
Oh,
I know a part of us were like, well, let's see how bad it was. It's kind of like fun to watch something that like we tried for, but yeah, in that reading, I played the trick or treater girl of Catherine O'Hara.
okay. That's fun.
Much
But
fun, yeah.
anyway, this is not the same. It's not the same actress, but it's still really fun to look at like who voiced what, and so I mean it's just really fun to see all of these little things you find out. Also, they found and during production, what they worked out with Disney and Warner Brothers, they could not give Mickey Mouse or
yeah.
Bugs Bunny more time. They had to do them the same
And
for
same with
each.
Daffy
Like,
Duck and
yeah,
Donald. So they're always paired together.
Right, they had to all be paired together because not
Yeah,
one could get more than the other, which I thought was really interesting. Uh,
he
yeah,
really did.
it's really, I think it's quite amazing that they did what they could do at the time too, like just how they were able to get it to look so good. Like it's so seamless. Even if you watch it today, it's so seamless, you cannot tell. Like it's not aged, or it's aged so well.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Didn't they put Looney Tune characters at Disney World and Land for like a second? Like they would run
Yeah,
around.
they have Toontown, and they have Toontown there. At least as far as I know, I don't know. I haven't been there in a long time. So,
But
Yeah.
I remember
Is
like old, yeah,
everything's owned
I
by
think it was
Disney
more
now.
incorporated.
I know. Oh my gosh,
We're
they're now the evil corporation.
Like
doing
everything.
it.
They can't even
We're
let Looney Tunes
we're
stay.
doing a
Sorry, YouTube.
play. We're doing a play on the Brothers Grimm right
Yeah,
now.
they
It's
should
like
the
Oh, that's fun.
Brothers Grimm Spectacular-thon. So it's a merging of all the original tellings of the Brothers Grimm. And it literally starts off with the one girl trying to fight off Disney with the lightsaber. And then they're like, Disney owns that, right? And this other person screams and is like,
What?
they own everything.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just really love the script. The script is so much fun, and there's so many fun parts. And I love Christopher Lloyd, Lloyd's Doom. I was not trying to imitate him at all when I was, except for maybe the high pitch, but that's just because it calls for the high pitch thing, the high pitch voice. But I was not trying to imitate him, but I just really love the way he does. If anything, actually, I was more imitating Jeremy Irons as Scar. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, long live the king.
We need to do more Disney movies next year.
Or just
That is my
anime.
petition.
Anime movies are fun for voices
Yeah.
and
Oh, they're so much fun.
50
Yeah, that
characters.
is my petition for next year. More Disney movies.
Oh, there's so many good ones. I love singing Disney
Yeah.
songs. They're great. Because I get told I'm a Disney princess anyway, so.
Well, I was looking on our schedule. The next couple ones should be relatively short.
Oh, that's good.
Tuesday we
I
have
mean, not that I don't love spending hours with you
Oh
guys.
my gosh.
That's
yeah.
not what I mean.
second half of
Oh.
Vampire, and then
What is next
um,
week? Interview with Vampire?
interview with Vampire.
Next
Yeah.
week's interview.
Part 2.
And then we switch to a television episode, and those are always short. We're going to do Ozark
Yeah.
on the 19th. And then
Woohoo!
November 26th is part 2 of Dracula. And then December 3rd is Forrest Gump, which is a film, but I've also reserved the
That
second.
one.
We could
is
do it in
gonna
2
be-
parts because we have nothing scheduled on the 10th. So I've got that reserved. We could do it in the 3rd and the 10th.
Mama was telling me life inside the box.
And then we close out the year with Gremlins on the 17th.
Woohoo! Love Gremlins.
Oh
I love
my
that one
God.
too. That one's so much fun.
In all this year so far, since the 3rd week of April, since I've been here for the 3rd week of April, we will read 3 things I've watched before. 3.
Well, you've got time between now and then to watch a few of these. Forrest Gump.
We gotta get you caught up,
No,
Jackson.
Forrest Gump. No. So far it's gonna be Avengers, Forrest Gump, and Gremlins.
Okay, so you've seen
Was
this,
Avengers the first one I joined you guys for?
maybe.
No, you joined Casablanca. That was the
Oh, it was Casablanca was the first one. That's right.
yeah,
Okay.
and that was the same time as me. We both
Right,
joined
okay.
in with Casablanca, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Was Casablanca your first one too? I did not know
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jackson.
was
I did
my
not
first
realize that. Sorry. I totally thought you
No.
me.
It was the week before it, I think me and Vicky met for the first time.
Oh, that's funny.
And Vicky was like, join this group. And I joined and we did Casablanca. And I was like, yay. I don't know what this movie is. But yay.
I love Casablanca. It's such a great
How long
film.
have you been doing it?
Huh?
How long have you been doing this? How long
Acting in
has this
general
group
or just
been-
script reading? How long has the group been?
The group has been here since the beginning of COVID, I believe.
Oh,
They used to read every Tuesday with a new script each week. And then at the beginning of this year, we switched it to the first, third, and fifth Tuesdays. Although we've been pretty much reading every Tuesday because for those long scripts, we've been splitting into 2 parts. So
Yeah.
There's a few Tuesdays we haven't read, but so that would be about 4 years now of reading.
Oh,
Vicky, who wasn't able to be here tonight, she's only missed like 2 or 3 times the entire
Yeah.
time since the beginning of 2020, but she was
Which
ill
is
this evening,
crazy.
so she was out. But hopefully she'll be
Oh.
back next week for the second half of Vampire.
Oh yes. I can't wait to see her play the little girl role. I
Claudia.
hope,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Claudia.
Hello, Claudia.
Yeah, and we've got quite a few, readers that come in and out for some episodes. So
Yeah, we'll see
I
who we
think
get for next week.
one of
I mean,
my
I'm definitely
yeah.
being there, so I'm reprising my Lestat. So
This is probably one of my favorites for a lot of our new people joining because
yes,
usually it's me, Vicky, Aubrey, and you, Kat. So it's nice seeing new people come in every now and then. I think the only other time I think we really, or there's 2 other times previous to that where I felt like we really had a lot more people was
Spaceballs.
Avengers. Oh, I guess Spaceballs too. Avengers, and Fried Green Tomatoes.
Oh
oh,
yeah.
I really like that
And I
movie.
had to leave early for that one. I didn't get to stay the whole
We had
time.
so many fun. It was so fun.
well, we should have quite a few folks coming in for Neverending Story in January. So
Yes.
So I'll have to get the character I want to play. Sorry, what was that, Haley?
Oh, I just sang the never ending story. I just did that like some shit.
Yeah.
I did any real like this like black guy, I don't know. It's a maybe it'll chime a bell. I'm just gonna say his race. And he's like, it's like what's the
Oh yes,
yeah,
yes, it's Atreyu with the horse that has the horse. I've seen that one.
and he's
I've
like
seen that little horse.
it's a kid that's dressed up as him, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like how all of us were. I mean, I watched that way too late. I will admit it. But I was a young adult. I was like 26 years old, going. I was like crying so hard at that part.
It's the combination of the music.
I hated it. Yeah,
the acting and like just it's that whole scene is just it's meant to be so traumatizing.
Well,
The whole movie is so traumatizing.
yeah. And the second one's like a trip. Like literally, the
Oh yeah.
staging is so good. Like they must have got more of a budget, right? And it was really cool in that way. But then you think about the actor that like.
Oh yeah, no, please. Are we still on YouTube? Are we still
Yeah.
on YouTube? Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm not gonna say. Yeah.
If we are, when we get off YouTube, I will show you guys something. If we get off YouTube, I'll show you something, guys.
Well,
Personal.
I think it's for you too, but it's it made me
You think
sad.
we could? Yeah, it's not personal. It's not for YouTube to look at. But if we could get off for YouTube, I will show you something. Show you guys something. And I mean, not really. It's not like it's inappropriate or anything. It's just something personal that I don't want to really share on YouTube. So.
With the whole world.
Pop culture
Yes.
about that. So yeah, but I'm curious. I would love to see that. Yeah. But yeah, that was Never Ending Story for sure. And the second one's really well. Yeah.
I like a lot of people bag on Neverending Story too. I think there's so many really beautiful, poignant parts in Neverending Story too that are just so sad, especially looking at them from the eyes of an adult, how sad they are.
Yes.
And poignant, and you're just like, wow, they really tried. Like they put so much love and effort into it. And then you get to Neverending Story 3, you're like, just throw that thing in the trash. Throw it in the trash. Anyways, I know we weren't talking about Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but yeah, I'm excited for the movies we're gonna do. I love most of them. I think they're fantastic, and I'm just so excited to reprise Lestat next week. So excited.
This definitely goes into like top movies of our generation, like for sure, of I guess comedies in the last 20 years for sure. 30.
30. No, it's weird.
What is that math there? 2 centuries? No, it's 200 years.
It's for I think millennials had some of the best movies. Millennials and Gen X had some of the best movies. I won't say that the earlier generations didn't either, because some of those old time movies are so good.
Oh yeah,
some that come to mind that are just amazing. Like Casablanca is fantastic, and and like the movie The Searchers, and we got Star Trek in 1967. So I can't completely say that we got all the best movies.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try ending your guys' beautiful conversation, but Jackson Gray is getting really tired.
All right, maybe we should just call it here for two.
Yeah.
So, good night, everybody on the YouTube.